Okay, we're going to head not to Brookline, Massachusetts, but we're going to head now to the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Is that where we are, Madeline, today?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's
Look,
0 degrees centigrade, freezing.
What is it? Is it 0 degrees centigrade?
Yeah, which means it's 32 degrees.
That
which
is true.
has been warm. It is warm, actually, compared to what it has been.
Well, it's cold for me, given that I'm in Sydney and it's summertime, but although it is cool. But let me do the intro for you so everyone knows who you are, and then we can kind of dive in a little bit. Because I've known Madeline now for, I don't know, quite a few months, it feels like. She's a psychologist with years of experience working with teens from inner city schools and outlying rural areas, as well as white suburban areas. In all these settings, I've never heard it quite called that. In all these settings, her clients showed the same basic needs, listen carefully, for honest communication and respect for their autonomy. She's now written 2 books that address them directly, since they are the experts on themselves. Her book, I Want to Be Me, But I Don't Know Who I Am. I love that title. It sounds just like the story of my life. And her soon-to-be published I Want to Be Me workbook. Madeline coaches her readers to greater awareness, autonomy, independence, and resilience. And I got to tell you, from what I've discovered about teens these days, that is so critical, because the teen suicide rate is up 8.7 times what it was in the past. So a woman that is basically here to save lives, the incredible, amazing Madeline Boscovitz. Yay.
Thank you, Ken. Oh, God. I don't know if I can live up to this introduction. And Joe,
well, hell, you wrote it, so for God's sakes, you better.
And Joe, I am thrilled to be meeting you, not quite in person, but.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to meet you. Yeah.
So this is and I want to. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just replying to your comment. I think there's a little bit of delay. No, yeah, it's awesome to meet you. I can't wait to hear what you get to talk about. I mean, the title of the book is already has caught my eye. So yeah, nice to meet you.
Thank you, Joe. So this is very exciting. Thank you, Ken, for this opportunity to talk. Mr. Quell.
Oh, no.
To a national audience. And while my experience is entirely American, and I'm addressing American children and teens and young adults, I think human development is pretty much the same despite cultural differences. And I want to start by apologizing, because I am actually going to be using the script, and I'm going to do what our previous speaker said not to do, but I still be on camera for you.
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me make you a co-host so that you can share your screen.
Oh, did you want me to do that? I was just going to be looking at the camera. And
whichever you want. I thought I was multitasking, so for some reason I thought you wanted to share your screen. So no, go ahead.
No, I think it might be better this way. So.
Okay.
I'm going to do exactly what he said not to do, but I'm a psychologist and a teacher, and it's hard to get away from that model. So the title of my talk today is not I Want to Be Me, but I Don't Know Who I Am, though that's coming up soon. But it is the 5 essential skills that schools do not teach. So let me start by saying that is not a criticism. It is a comment, and it needs to be understood what the issue is. So historically, children were expected to have the emotional and social development when they reached school age, and so that they could function in the classroom. And I think by and large, it was happening certainly in America. But for some reasons, or many reasons, it's not happening for many children and teens nowadays. So schools have tried to adjust. Elementary schools now, some of them are offering children some quiet space to engage in mindfulness meditation, to be in touch with their own feelings and to calm down. And I think that's a plus. In high schools, though, teens are really assumed to be ready to learn the material. There is a hurry to get it done. And any teen that shows a lack of ability to do that, a lack of presence, is often excluded, punished, isolated, and often shamed, unfortunately. So let's reflect on that this is the week of love, and let's send love to the schools and the dedicated staff that work so hard to teach our children. And let's not forget the teens that we live with or work with every day. They are certainly in need of love, the difficult ones in particular. So let's give them the skills also to love themselves. And this is what my book is about, and why I address them directly, is that it's important for them to get the wherewithal to be persons that they love. So I'm in the process of creating an educational program where I have the guidebook and the workbook that will be published this spring. And I am working actually on a web course to teach the book in the classroom, hopefully as part of a curriculum in health education. So let's just look at what we expect of our children between the age of 10 and 20. I've stretched it a little bit just to cover a whole decade. And because it's a decade of incredible transformation as they grow from dependent children to independent adults, able to function in the world as an adult. And this is an enormous challenge for them, and many, many teens are very much challenged. And yet, so it is really not fair that they get a bad rap. So let's look at the 5 essential skills that teens need to learn, to practice, and to mature in order to have a successful life. And I want to point out that we start practicing those skills in adolescence, but it often takes a lifetime to accomplish them. So wait and see what I'm talking about. So the first one is self-awareness, which also promotes good overall self-care, and I will go into detail later. The second one is the challenging emotional regulation, acceptance and management of our feelings, not denying them or repressing them, but accepting and managing. The third one, effective behavior management, the one that so many of us have so much trouble with, and I will go into some detail as to why. Then good pro-social skills are needed to enable us to have a productive and pleasant life, and to be able to love, as our previous speaker talked about. When we love ourselves, we're able to love. Finally, the ability to make insightful decisions, considering consequences and potential outcomes. So all of this, of course, is covered in my books, and I will go into a little more detail, or a lot more detail. So how do we promote this good self-awareness that fosters self-care, autonomy, which means taking charge of ourselves, responsibility, independence, pro-social behavior, and solid decision-making? Is that all we're expecting of these poor adolescents? Well, it is, as much as possible. So as we make them more aware of themselves on the inside and the outside, they learn to focus on their traits and behaviors, to see who they are and how they present to others. They also uncover their strengths and weaknesses, and ultimately realize that they can choose the identity that they want to project in the world. They can choose to improve on their qualities and to manage their behaviors. So this is extremely empowering, and it empowers them ultimately to acknowledge their dreams, which they have often been hiding from themselves, as they don't quite believe in themselves. So this awareness also encourages them to trust their own gut feelings, their inner voice, helps them to acknowledge what they need, and then engage them in becoming what I call their own good parent, because this is all our job, is to learn to leave our parents' authority and establish our own direction as we grow into the teen years, and become, therefore, our own good parent, because we want actually a kind parent, and one that will foster healthy, what we call self-talk, how we talk to ourselves. Again, the previous speaker mentioned how we need to talk to ourselves kindly. And so they learn to reject the negative comments that they often hear. Oh, you will never amount to anything, and you just can't do it, and you're expecting too much, and who do you think you are? All of these, they become aware that these are not necessary, and they don't have to espouse them. So as they recognize when they're being treated well or not, and this is essential for getting along in the world, to know how to be treated. So I'm going to use here an example that was created with a client, not a teen client, but an adult client who was a new high school teacher and who had a very, very difficult class in which she could not get the teens to settle down or to do any work or to even pay any attention to what she was doing. And she was very distressed. So I gave her a copy of my book. I'm not allowed to sell it to patients, so I give it to them. So what did she do? She had the genius idea after reading my book and understanding some of the teens' needs. She had the genius idea of inviting them every single class to take the first 5 minutes and write down privately what is on their mind, what they would like for themselves, where they're at, and whatever else they wanted to write. And when they were done with those 5 minutes, they were on task. They were able to participate in the class and to listen. And the question is why? Why did this help? Or how did it help? So she offered them respect. She acknowledged their status as being anxious and agitated and angry. She acknowledged their need for some way to become able to listen and study. So she helped them become more aware of themselves, take stock of themselves and their status, and center themselves. It can be as simple as that in the classroom. So let's get on to the next piece, which is emotional regulation. That's what we call it. That's the jargon. And it's helping teens recognize and accept their emotions without judging themselves. Emotions are healthy responses to what we experience. There is nothing wrong with them. And we don't control them. We cannot control them. Even though every client comes into therapy says, I want to learn to control my emotions. And I say, well, no, you can't control emotions. You can control your behavior. And that's a difference. And that will be the next piece. But right now, we're helping teens learn how to manage and regulate strong emotions so as to be able to choose their behavior. So I need actually to move back in time to a much earlier period of development because emotional regulation really starts during the terrible twos. That's what we call them in America when the little child becomes a little bit autonomous and wants to have his way and comes upon frustrations. And we're not used to them opposing us, and that's why we call them the terrible twos. But it is a very exciting time for the child. And what does he do when he has to struggle with a frustration? Very often, he, for lack of any ability to do anything else, he throws a temper tantrum. He feels the emotion in his body and sort of loses control of his body in struggling with the frustration, and we call that a temper tantrum. The best way to help the child who throws a temper tantrum is to let him or her recover by themselves. Not interfere with it, not shame, not punish, not yell, not prevent. So as the child recovers, he engages often in what we call self-soothing, taking care of his hurt. He might go and grab a blankie. She might be sucking her thumb and picking up her teddy bear, whatever it is. They find a way to take care of themselves as long as you don't remove that frustration. It's very important. So punishment teaches the child to disregard feelings, and giving into the tantrum is the worst thing you can do because it teaches the child that manipulation is the way to get things done. And, so it's just not right. And I have to say that in my practice now, I'm retired now, by the way, Ken. But in my practice, I often saw older children who were still allowed to throw temper tantrums at 10 years of age, 11 years of age. So I had a young boy who was 11 and who actually threw a temper tantrum in Walmart. And his mother was very angry with him as she brought him into the session. And we talked about it, and I first clearly set limits that, it's been okay until now to have a temper tantrum when you're frustrated, but, after next Monday, that's no longer acceptable. So you're just at the limit now. You can still do till Monday, but not after next Monday. So, and when you're frustrated, what do? You take care of yourself. Do you go read a book, listen to music, dance, punch a ball? What do you do? Whatever it is, that's good. And what if you wanted that poster so badly? How could you go about getting it? What could you do? Let's use that anger for you to figure out what you could do. So we talked that maybe he could offer to do some work to earn the money. Maybe he could go talk to neighbors and help them out to earn money. Whatever it was, he could then come up with the money and autonomy, because he would then be on his own to purchase that poster, in the sense that it would have been his own doing, his own autonomy, rather than depending on his mother. So let's move on to the really tough one, and that's the middle one of the 5 pieces, and that's behavior management. So this is about helping teens to use the energy from their emotion, exactly, to choose to resist an impulsive reaction, like throwing a temper tantrum, in favor of choosing a response that takes into account their goals, small and large, considers their needs and the path they really want to take. So this boy really wanted that poster, but he didn't have any resources on how to get it besides throwing a temper tantrum. So it was, of course, high time for him to learn that he did indeed have resources and that he could take advantage of them. So it's also important to acknowledge that for all of us, this is the biggest challenge, but also the biggest boon when we master it. But it takes a lifetime. People who are successful are those who keep their cool and choose their behavior. Think about our current vice president, who was described as unflappable, a great compliment to her when she was a senator. So how do you do that? How do you get that across? Of course, in my books, there are all kinds of exercises that train the teens to learn those skills, but I'm just going to use the old days example long before computers and other modern items. We were told to count to 10. Why? Well, take a moment to regroup. It's still the best advice that allows a person to listen to their gut and consider choices and personal goals. And here's an example here, which seems to have disappeared. No, it's right here.
I forgot about counting to 10.
Sorry.
I totally forgot about counting to 10. And in fact, I was told, I have a friend of mine who I've been working with for years as a coach, and I had to make an agreement that I wouldn't do anything impulsive business-wise, not till I counted to 10, but for 5 days. And I had a 5-day cooling off period. And if the idea was still good after 5 days, we would do it. Yeah, and I haven't exactly followed that, but it's a really good idea.
5 days is good. I had a 3-day example that I may go in if we have more time later, where I took 3 days to cool off and then get the situation straightened
Well,
out. So,
it's funny you're bringing me back to a memory when I was in my first relationship, way back when I was 23 years old, I think it was. And I said, like, so here's the deal. It's going to be like a rental agreement. You have to give 30 days notice. And so we have a fight because at that time everyone was breaking up, like, have a fight, break up, have a fight, break up. And I was like, I don't want that. I want something stable. So I said, okay, so here's the deal. We have a fight. You want out, you give me 30 days notice. And so every now and then we would give each other 30 days notice. And of course, the next morning it was like we retracted it. But at least we had that ability that, okay, we were able to say it and then get through it. So you make a really good point about that cooling off period.
So that is a wonderful example. And if I may use it sometime in the future.
You can even do it with that attribution. It's fine.
Oh, well, no. Okay, thank you. But I would certainly refer to you as my teacher. So I'm going to use an example here of a young man that I named Jason and who appears in the book as an example. And I was going to read it, but time is of the essence, and so I'm not going to read it. But it was going to give you an example of the way I write, very down to earth and directly with the youth, because these books are addressed to them directly.
Nice.
And,
we have about 6 minutes, if that, or 6 or 7 minutes. So if that works for you, then feel free.
I thought I had about 8 minutes.
You do, but I was just trying to pad it.
Thank you. So Jason, this was in a shelter for teenagers who had either run away from home or been brought in by their parents, and they were all under the ages of the Children's Protective Services, where I was volunteering as a counselor. And so Jason was 17 years old, and he came in very angry and agitated, and I invited him, not told him, not asked him, but invited him to sit down with me and maybe be able to let me know what was going on. His girlfriend was so I found out his girlfriend was in the hospital, but they wouldn't let him talk to her. He had called twice and they said, no, that was impossible. And he had been so furious that he slammed the phone down and was crying, and he didn't know how to deal with it. And so I let him, take his time to settle down and narrate it. And I said, well, maybe there is a way that you still could get to talk to her, since you clearly care so much about her. And how could you go about it instead of being kind of rude and informal? Maybe you could sound, more quiet, use a quiet voice and introduce yourself and make the request using her full name and sound, almost like an adult. I didn't say that, of course, but maybe that would really help. So he actually sat with me, a total stranger, and was willing to talk to me about this and then rehearse it with me. We did phone call, and in the days when we put our phone to the ear. Anyway, and he went and called on one of the available phones and in the shelter and succeeded. First time around, he succeeded. So we talked about the value of the energy from the anger, and also, and not with him, but with the readers, I talk about the value of anger. So emotions give us a lot of energy, but we can use it to make good choices. We can use it to reach our goals rather than just express our frustration. And this is something that a school counselor could certainly engage a distressed student as well, and I suspect that they do. So the next important thing are the pro-social, what I call pro-social skills, and this sort of come automatically as teens become more self-aware and empowered to be taking charge of themselves. They learn to respect themselves and others, to provide and demand sincere connection, to demand respect, avoid manipulation or intimidation, peer pressure, or even bullying. And at the same time, they learn to refrain from doing the same. So and they learn to attend to their own needs, to stay on track and avoid being distracted from the goal. So this is what Jason was learning, to practice those skills, to keep the goal in mind and to work on the skills necessary to achieve that goal, to being polite and patient. And optimally, eventually to treat himself with respect because he was entitled to talk to his girlfriend. He just needed to believe that he was. So the last piece of the 5 pieces is insightful decision making. And now, some of you may be laughing, and it takes forever for all of us to learn how to make sound decisions that use critical thinking and self-knowledge. In the book, I actually use, believe it or not, what I call yes-no decision trees, where you have a decision to make, you have a yes path and you have a no path. And if all works out, the yes path leads to yes, I can do it. But everywhere you get a choice to yes or no. And it looks like a tree. I use it horizontally with big labels. And I think it works. I also have demonstrate one for a decision I had to make, which I also put on YouTube as a verbal demonstration. So these are the 5 skills that promote self-confidence, allows teens to believe in themselves and their dreams, feel empowered to pursue them, and become resilient in the face of obstacles and challenges. So I am going to show you the book. I'm coming back here. I am going to show you not only the title. By the way, this is what one of my young patients said. I want to be me, but I don't know who I am. And she gave me permission to use the title. I think she forgot.
Her eyes are amazing. Her eyes are amazing. Wow.
So this is not the student, of course. This is a stock photo. My artist is my son, Mark Sawaya. He gets credit at the end of the book and on the back cover. And so that's a guidebook, which is already out on Amazon. This is a prototype of the workbook, where the same girl is in the middle, but now she's got a whole bunch of friends that she's working with. And it's I Want to Be Me workbook. And to give you guys a taste of what this is like, what the books are like, my free gift to you is an I Want to Be Me introduction to the guidebook. And let's see if I can show that, to the guidebook and workbook. It's free if you go to my website, well, not my website, the book's website. And it's got about 80 pages. It has a lot of the instruments, introductory material. It's got the code to get more instruments online, to have access to more instruments online. And it has a sample chapter from each book, so you can see how I go about doing this teaching. And it has very detailed tables of contents so that you can see just what I cover very methodically. Is it okay, Ken, if I give the website?
Well, what we can, but I'll make it easy for everybody. We should have a link on the dashboard so people can just go right to our World of Week dashboard. They can download it immediately. Because typically you can feel free and deliver it now if you like, but just so all of you know, the link for that will be on the dashboard, so you don't have to worry about it. Go ahead.
Yes, I saw it actually. It looked very good.
Okay.
So if you look at what I put after my name, I put I Want to Be Me. So it's I Want to Be Me without an exclamation point. I Want to Be Me.org.
Oh, cool. That's a great name.
It's an easy one.
It is an easy one.
Go and you sign for my email list and you get the freebie book.
Fantastic.
It's a download that you can get immediately.
Fantastic.
And it will be there either forever or until like my previous speaker said, either forever or until the next gift comes along.
There you go. Exactly. Beautiful. Madeline, I am so honored to have you with us today. You are a gem, and we've got to land this plane right this minute because the next broadcast is starting like right now.
Okay.
I love you to pieces. Take care. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy World Love Week. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Joe.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
recording. And we're just waiting for everything to load. In 1 second here. We are now live on Facebook. Yay. Hello, Facebook. Waiting for YouTube to finish doing its wonderful thing. And we'll let that populate on its own. So let me go and say to everybody, yay, welcome. We have an incredible, delightful, and delicious guest today, the incredible Catherine Lobb. Now, Catherine, let me get her bio up here, her intro, so I can present her to you in the best possible way. And let's see here. I had it up a second ago. You know I did because I told you I did.
Yep.
Let's go get it. Yep. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've been talking behind the scenes over here, and I'm really excited to bring her on because she's very, very cool. Catherine Lobb hosts the Celestial Spoon podcast. She's an award-winning inspirational author, a speaker for stress reduction, a psychic, and a spiritual guide. And yeah, she's told me some things that she's done. It's pretty cool. She helps people feel better with her positive outlook, describing her own battles and winning her battle with deep depression. She's an advocate for mental illness through her campaign, Brighten Your Day with Turquoise, hence the color, because turquoise is a calming color. I didn't know that. She guides others through her spiritual skills to feel invigorated and empowered to go forward in their own struggles. Catherine psychically delivers information to people from the spiritual realm, their guides and angels that benefit them greatly with their lives. I am so excited because I want to jump in and find out exactly. I may even be afraid to find out what the guides are saying about me. Ladies and gentlemen, the incredible, outrageous Catherine Lobb. Woohoo!
Thank you. Hello, Ken. It's great to be here. Thank you so much. And I'm excited because this whole storyline basically that we're presenting to everybody around love is what I want to talk about, because we're all here to make a difference in the world. And I'm noticing one by one, more people are stepping up and saying, oh, I need to make a difference. So I share my own journey of where I've come from and overcome. And a lot of it has to do with my spirituality. And World Love Week is a perfect time to be sharing.
Yeah, it's a special week, and today, of course, is a special day. So I'm thrilled pieces that you're here. So let's talk a little bit about what you've been doing and the message you have for everybody today. We have a bunch of time available until the incredible Pam Heath joins us next. So let's rock and roll.
Okay, so basically, I thought my life had to do with being a wife and a mother, raising children. But once my children were out of the house and it was just myself and my husband, of course, 2 little dogs, we began fighting a lot. And I started noticing that I wasn't happy all the time. Actually, it started when my last daughter was still in the house, and I became suicidal very often. And I never made any attempts until 2003. 2003, I was fighting with my husband in our workplace. We had a little factory, and it had to do with one of the employees where I felt like I was one of the employees in a peon where we were partners, and the man controlled everything. So that began my journey of insecurity because I now felt like I was squashed down. So during a fight at home, I tried taking pills. I got a whole bunch of them down. My husband held me down for a whole hour, and he couldn't believe how strong I was, because the driving me to leave this planet was so strong. It was no longer me. I felt like it was the devil really pushing his way, saying, you need to come with me. Well, after an hour of holding me down, I said to him, well, you need to let go of me sooner or later so I could go to the bathroom. And with that, he called 911, and they came and they took me to the hospital. And it was then that I learned that if you get to that point before you act, you need to reach out and say, I'm struggling and I need the help. So either reach out to a friend or a professional, or get yourself to the emergency room, and you'll find so much better things to come your way. But hold on, sorry. That wasn't the last of it. It continued. And every time my husband and I had a major fight, it was like, I can't afford to support myself. And at the time, my teenage daughter, the first time, and I felt there was a wall up and nowhere to go. So after then, we went into therapy separately and then marriage counseling, but it really didn't help. And I have to share something really graphic to let people know why I am where I am now. It's where during these marriage counseling sessions, my husband told me that I didn't turn him on because I was too fat. So for at least 15 years, we were not having sex. And that really made me insecure. So of course, every time we had a fight, that's what went through my mind. It's like, well, he's in control of my life. And I'm fighting the tears now because I have those feelings. And he died a year ago. And I feel like I'm haunted by a lot of these feelings. And it's my time to shine. And it sounds sad sharing my story and all the horrors I've been through, but I have to share it so other people know that you're not alone. And there is help for you, no matter what situation you're in, even if it's just stress because of the COVID that we're going through, the pandemic. You're worth something. And it's really time to look at your life and say, oh my God, did my husband treat me that way? Did my wife treat me that way? Or just simple everyday things that are piling up. You may be a mother and the kids are stressing you out. Or you may be an executive in a large company and you feel like there's this wall because you have all these people that you have to be responsible for and you're falling apart. So listening to what I have to say and what I've been through is very important for you to look deeply inside and understand it in yourself. Now, last year was the worst of it all. It started out nicely because Valentine's Day, my husband was already sick with cancer. He was already in hospice in the house. 2 days before Valentine's Day, he gave me an iPad because my relaxation time is on the phone doing jigsaw puzzles. So he said, this is just to do your jigsaw puzzles because I know how much you love doing them and how it helps you. And it does. That's my relaxation and that's my meditation time. Well, 2 days later, I was going to sleep like 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and he would be getting up like 6 or 7. So he was laying in bed, and I laid down next to him. I put my arm around him, and he took it off of him and proceeded to get out of bed. And it's like, well, where are you going? I don't understand this. I want to cuddle with you. And I felt like he threw me away. I felt like I wanted to be next to him because he was on his way out and he wasn't letting me. So that day I became suicidal again. I got in my car and I kept on saying, how am I going to crash my car? If I do it, I have to make sure that I die because I don't want to struggle after this. I'm sorry. And I ended up going back home and I thought about just driving into the house. And I made it up until 3 feet before when I slammed on the brakes. Then I went inside and I said to him, I don't understand why you're treating me like this. What did I do? I've been taking care of you. And he just said, you don't understand. And I didn't. So I knew that he had a hand BB gun or whatever type it was, and it wasn't used yet. I went and took it, and I kept trying to figure how can I make this work? I know BBs don't kill, but maybe if I keep pointing it at my heart and just keep shooting. But I couldn't get it to work. So I was already on many antidepressants, anxiety medication, and a lot of medications for a lot of different mental illnesses. I was given an extra one because my doctors knew that he was dying any time. And I took it, not thinking anything of it. And I kept on taking it. That same night, I passed out, and my daughter found me on the floor, half naked, coming out of the bathroom. And I said, I don't know what happened. She got me to bed, and I don't remember the rest of that day. The next night, I passed out again, and I got stuck in the bathroom, and I couldn't get myself up. My stepdaughter was there at the time. She's a nurse, and she was helping care for Tony. And I kept screaming, help me, help me. And then finally, after hours, she opened the door. She couldn't unstick me, so she had to call the fire department. Fire department came, they got me out, and I said to them, I'm very suicidal and I need to go to the hospital. And that's what I tell everybody. You need to reach out. You need to go when you're feeling like that. I'm so sorry, but it feels like it was just yesterday. I was in the hospital for 3 days, which I had been in the same one 3 times before. And I begged them on the 3rd day, I said, I have to go home. My husband's going to die tonight. I know it. I'm being a psychic. I already said 2 years before he died, I said, Tony's going to die next year. I just knew it. Just like I knew the day my mother was going to die and my father was going to die which year. So they communicated with my son, who was the contact person, and he promised that if I went home that he would watch over me and take care of me. So I don't even remember all of those days. And I was told that I was nasty. I kept passing out. I was delusional. I was just totally out of it. The only thing that I do remember is on the 24th of February, I got to kneel down next to Tony. He was in a recliner chair, and he said to me, Kathy, there's something wrong. I said, I know, it's time. But then there was a policeman at the house because I was out of hand, which I don't remember. And the policeman took me away from Tony. That's the last time I saw him. He died the next morning in hospice. One ambulance took him to hospice, and another one took me to the emergency room because I said to my son, I need to find out what's wrong with me. Why is this happening? Why can't I remember? I'm hallucinating. In the morning, a social worker was with me, and I felt a hand on my shoulder. And I turned, it was my daughter and my other 2 kids. I said, is he alive? And they said, no, he's gone. And I couldn't be with him because of what was going on. A few days later, I felt better. And then my son and I were analyzing it. And we realized it was the medication. The anxiety medication combined with everything else caused me to be a crazy woman, is what I was told. But that's not the reason I share my story. I share my story for you. Anyone out there that has anything going on. I mean, just something as simple as grief. It's not really simple, but it's an everyday thing. Sometimes you can't get through it. a lot of these days with the COVID, people are being locked up. Some are going stir crazy and they don't know what to do. And there's so many statistics showing that last year there was so many people reporting depression than the year before, and they were blaming it on COVID. But depression and anxiety are up at the top of the list of ailments that really affect people's lives. And you can overcome, just like I've overcome. I've realized in the last few weeks that my husband caused me to be suicidal. I'm not like that anymore. I'm not depressed anymore. My medications are being decreased because I feel fine. So it could be somebody in your life that you're reacting to. And what happened is, because I'm an empath, and anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's considered in spirituality where you absorb other people's energies. And unfortunately, it's me, it's the negative energies that I absorb. So I didn't realize for many years Tony was depressed, but I found information on his computer, little diaries that indicated he was. So the fights, every time we fought, it was his depression coming out stronger and bringing mine up stronger. And I want to read a quote because this represents me 100%. I've fallen, cried, been angry and afraid. But even when I was hurting, I always found a way to keep going. A strong woman never gives up. And that's my story. I just keep on going. And my spirituality is what gets me through everything, because I have the angels by my side. They point me in the direction I need to go. And many years ago, they told me, they kept on telling me about turquoise. And it's like, well, what do you mean about turquoise? And then I heard in different words, but brighten your day with turquoise. And as Ken said earlier, turquoise is a calming color and it helps you think clearly and focus better. So I always wear turquoise and have turquoise around me. You could carry notes on turquoise paper, but there's many ways to incorporate it into your life. And that's my campaign, Brighten Your Day with Turquoise, because I want you all to feel better if you're struggling. And I feel nowadays like 7 out of 10 people that I talk to are really struggling and stressed and depressed. So reach out if you need help. The main thing that I help with is the spiritual direction, because my psychic skills, my abilities to connect with the beyond are what helps people get through, because I share information that they never thought that they would hear, or I guide them in a direction that my angels are saying this is good for them. So that is the best way that I've gotten through. Of course, there is the medication end of it. There's the therapist, the doctors, and you need to have a team of people around you that works with you. So that's the main thing. I want to spread love and make the world a better place, one person at a time. And we can do it. I know we can.
No, I completely agree with you. And I want to thank you for sharing. That was pretty amazing. An amazing journey. And it's interesting that you shared that, because so many people don't recognize that being, and I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but being in a toxic relationship where you're having negative energy rub off on you is not healthy at all, love or not. If that's what you're in, we need to repel negativity. If we can't cope with it, if we can't manage it, sometimes the best thing we can say is, I love you, but I'm going to love you from a distance, and to recognize that it's not you at all. And I can tell you, I think all of us have a journey in some way that when it gets tough, we say, this shit's got to stop. You know, I don't want to be here anymore. How do we get out of this madness? And I will tell you that I've thought about suicide a number of times over my life. And I remember I was in a yoga class doing downward dog, thinking about how can I kill myself, you know, and it was like, okay, this is stupid, Ken. And I thought it was like, and I just kind of watched from above. I was like, this is really dumb. I'm doing yoga and I'm thinking about how to, you know, but I was in pain and I wasn't loving my life. And how do I stop that? But at the end of the day, for me, it was I have far more to do. But let's face it, life is tough. Or can be tough. Let's say it that way. I don't want to say life is tough because that's the wrong affirmation. But we had Madeline on earlier, and we have some other guests coming on later on this week, where what I discovered with one of my Safari members is that teen suicide is up 8.7 times what it used to be. That's insane. That's just insane. And the basic reasoning is they don't feel they have hope. They don't see a way that there's a way out, that there's a future, which is really sad and really shameful. So what I want us to recognize is that there is the beautiful thing that you give people is a look inside, not just look inside of you, but a look inside of them with what you do on a spiritual basis and on a reading basis. And I want that out in the world. People need to have that. And you know, frankly, I'm like, what's she going to figure out about me? Which we'll talk about after this session is over. But the magic that's there is wonderful, and to celebrate that is wonderful, and to let people recognize that there is. I don't want to say that there's hope, because that sort of seems sort of, you know, yeah, there's hope, but you're not alone. You know, everybody has pain one way or the other. We all have our demons. And I remember years ago, I was doing a personal growth weekend with some people, and they were all saying to me, a couple of them were like, how would you know about us? You got your shit together. And I was like, you have no idea. You have no idea. You know, outside's great. Inside's like the blender's been going on, you know? So don't let anybody else convince you that you're the problem or that you're the only one that's messed up, because everybody has a mixed master going on inside of their brain, inside of their heart, inside of their body. We all have that. Even the people with so-called perfect lives, you have no idea. None.
Yes.
You know?
I agree 100%. I've been in a lot of networking groups, and I would be keeping my face, you know, hi, how are you? And everything nice and fun and fancy. But then as soon as I left and on the way home, oh, well, I need to do this, but that's in the way. And, you know, one of my big problems that my husband didn't like was that I'm a hoarder. And so there wasn't a lot of free-flowing energy, but we fought on that very often. And I moved recently, so all of my stuff is in the garage in the basement, so I have clear energy. But I would just put on a front, and once I walk back in the front door, it's like, here it goes again.
Yep.
And I would start crying or whatever. And, you know, it's exactly like you said. Everybody at some time in their life has these thoughts. And I just want to share really fast the second time, because it was November of 2019. I was sitting across the room from Tony as we were fighting with a pair of scissors, and I just kept going over my wrist. And it just kept going over my wrist. Every time I got to that main vein, I lifted my hand and I went around it. Kept going around and around, didn't have the nerve to get into that vein. In the meantime, Tony called the police, and when they arrived, he said, she's drawing on her arm with scissors. He did not know I was trying to cut my wrist.
God.
So I want the other people that are looking into your life to pay attention also, because it could be as simple as that. You know, you think they're drawing on their arm, but they're actually trying to cut their wrist open right in front of you. You need to find what's happening with them so you could be supportive of them and help them get through whatever's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And the bottom line really is support, letting people know they're not alone. There's all sorts of sadness out there, but the other side of it is there's all sorts of opportunity. Let's take a look at Pandemic Land, for example. What we've been doing when we haven't been live, like just before you came on, we've been replaying recordings of Opportunity-thon, which we ran last year. And the whole idea about Opportunity-thon was to say, okay, we have a pandemic, people are dying, the world's going to hell. Got it. And can you control that? No, you can only control you and your own experience. So how about if we spin it and we pivot our attitude and say, what can I do in my world to take command and control of my life so that way I'm in charge? I'm not a victim anymore. I'm the captain of my ship. I'm not in the engine room. I'm the guy given the directions, or the lady given the directions. Okay. And so we ran this 28.5-hour event with that whole attitude. People need to be in that state where they recognize they are in control. And if you feel you're getting out of control, yes, obviously get help. I'm one of the lucky ones. I got help many, many years ago. And I still have people I talk to when the pressure's on and so on. And I do the work, and we have to do the work. I mean, think about this. Do you like your teeth? Do you like keeping your teeth? Let's put it that way, right? Well, guess what? Then you probably brush them every day without even thinking about it. You don't brush your teeth, you don't shower, things don't go so good. So taking care of your mental state, taking care of your spiritual state, taking care of that is equally as important as doing a daily run and getting some cardio, or eating healthy, or simply brushing your teeth, for that matter. And I know you said you put everything in the garage. I would tell you to blow up the garage. No, for real. I would tell you to blow up the garage. I mean, my mom has, I wouldn't necessarily say she's a hoarder, but she doesn't like throwing things away.
Yes.
We found in the cupboard, like, groceries that are 10 years old because they were on sale. It's like, Mom, I mean, she had me eating cookies that literally were 10 years old. So see if they're any good, Ken. So I made a video. My mom tried to kill me because the chemicals in those cookies were like disastrous, And so I was like, Mom, please don't die for a while, because I really don't want to have to clean out your apartment.
My kids said the same thing.
Right. So just don't do that to us. So, but here's the thing. I took a feng shui class a number of years ago. And the big thing is throw your shit away, because the more space you have, the more room you have for great energy. So, and I'll tell you, I've moved a bunch of different places over the past years, and I've got things that are missing now from the last move. God knows where the hell they are, including my favorite recipe book, but who cares? At the end of the day, none of that shit really matters. So I'm going to I'll challenge you to do the dump the garage challenge, and just throw that. Don't even look, just blow it up. Like the basic question: when was the last time you ever saw it? 1971. Yeah, it doesn't need to be there anymore. Yes, I have the comfort of knowing. Yeah, and get rid of it.
My problem is I can't throw it away, so I donate it.
Fine, that's fine. Donate it. That's even better. That's even better.
I'm working on it.
Okay. And I wouldn't say problem. I would say challenge or opportunity. Now, this
challenge.
Point,
thank you.
Donate. That's what I did with a lot of my.
Yep.
Yeah. So I would dump it, and you will find just all this energy opening up. Here I am teaching you that. Anyway, we're about to head over to our next speaker. I am thrilled that you're with us. I know you've got a couple of gifts for us, so we're going to pop those into the on the dashboard. So worldloveweek.com/dashboard, and there'll be a link to all the gifts from all of our speakers, including the amazing Catherine. I got to tell you, I'm humbled by your ability to share and the way you open yourself up to us. You amaze me. You're amazing.
I stand for love. Do you?
Hey, this is Captain Lou, and I stand for love, baby. Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? Yes. Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you?
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring on our next guest, who I consider both a dear friend, and she, to me, I would say, is the epitome of GSD, get shit done. She is phenomenal, and she's just phenomenal. And look at that smile. Look at the backdrop. I mean, that's just amazing. Let me find her true intro before I tell you my part of the story with her, so I can at least do the right thing here. Pam Heath is a certified life coach and business strategist. I haven't even read this yet. I had no idea. She's has a popular podcast, has led extraordinary workshops for over 27 years. If you're looking to transform your life or expand your capability and capacity for new possibilities, she is your go-to guru for power, passion, and fun. I love those words. But I'm going to tell you the other story about Pam Heath, because you need to know this about this crazy woman. And I say crazy in the best sort of way. So Pam is a member of my Safari group, which is our high-end program of people that produce ridiculously irresistible digital events. And when she joined, she said, Ken, how long should I plan to get my first event done? And I said, 6 to 8 weeks would be about right. Get it all set up, get it organized, and don't do anything stupid like what we did for World Love Week. 10 days ain't the way to do a really proper event. And Pam said, okay, great, thank you very much. And basically, using adult language, he said, I'm not going to do that. I'm doing it now. So 2.5 weeks later, she ran her first event. Was it perfect? No, but it really was. Because guess what? In the space of that 2.5 weeks, she assembled a small group, 8 people showed up, and she made over $18,000 in that 1-day program. So I got to tell you something. This is a woman that loves to get stuff done. She does not take no for an answer. That's why she's the Yes coach. And I could not be more excited to bring her with you today, ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Pam Heath. Yay!
No autographs, no autographs.
You are my poster child for getting shit done, my lady.
Well, I call myself the Yes coach, and there's a reason I call myself the Yes coach, because I say yes.
I love it.
All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the energy of yes, because that's what people ask me about. They say, what is this yes thing? And I want to tell you, I live in the world of yes. And it's extraordinary. It's extraordinary hanging out in yes. And I invite people to come play with me in the world of yes. And that's why I call myself the Yes coach. And that's why I call my process the science of yes. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me so you can get my credentials, and then maybe you'll listen thoroughly. Maybe you'll just, tune out because I'm too woo-woo. But I'm a single parent, and I live in Southern California, and I have one adult son, and he's an aspiring music producer. And what I do for a living, I'm a yes coach, and that's pretty much what I do. And right now, there are people who are listening who are asking themselves, and the big question they're asking themselves is, what is this yes coaching? So I'm going to get to that. Don't worry, I'm going to get to that. That's what this talk is all about. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, because I have an interesting background. I did go to college, and I studied broadcast journalism because my intention was to be a newscaster. And I found that reporting the news was boring. So much of reporting the news reminded me of that Don Henley song, if you're familiar with it. It's called Dirty Laundry. Google the lyrics. It's completely like that. Kick them when you're up, kick them when you're down, kick them when you're up, kick them all around. And that's the world of broadcast news. And that just wasn't for me. So I spent the next 27 years as a legal administrator, and then an operations manager, and ultimately a human resource expert. And that's like a big freaking deal, because that it was so corporate and so structured, and that is not who I am. I'm actually not corporate and structured at all, but I was able to pull that off because the way that I operate, I say yes. So if you need me to be corporate and structured, yes. If you need me to be on point and interacting with people powerfully, yes. So based on that principle, that I say yes to whatever is available, whatever is possible, I say you can have anything you want. You can manifest anything you want just by saying yes. So by being a yes, you expand your capacity. You expand your capacity to anything you're willing to say yes to. And it's not just semantics. It's not just the word yes. You don't have to learn how to say yes in 18 different languages. It's a mindset. It's all about a mindset and how you live your life and who you be as you're living your life. And I know that's also resonating with some question. What you mean, Pam, by who you be? Okay, so who you be in life is how you operate. It's who you are, and what you do is sourced by who you are. And if who you are is yes, that's why I say you can have a life of power, passion, and fun. Because when you say yes, that's all there is to it. And it's not complicated. And we human beings, we tend to complicate things. I don't know why that is. We're just built that way. But life is amazingly simple. It really is. So the science of yes is a simple way to go about enhancing your life, to give power to what you're already up to. Now, when I talk about the power of yes, there's a couple of things that I'm taking for granted. And I want to say that right now up front, in case there's people there that this isn't true for. Then I'm talking to you, but I'm wasting my time. And what I'm relying on is a couple of things. Number one, you want the life of your dreams, and you want that yes, I can attitude. And you want more smiles, more joy, more happiness. You want those things. So that's why I'm speaking to you right now, because you want a life given by the science of yes. That's you, right? I'm talking to the right person? Okay, well, let's find out. So, why do I call my process the science of yes? How come exactly? Well, in order to answer that question, we're going to have to look at the definition of the word science. So I'm about to read to you, straight out of the dictionary, the definition of the word science. Now, check this out. The intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. Now I'm gonna read that again because that was a mouthful. That was a mouthful. Now, I'm not gonna expect you to memorize this. I'm gonna read it one more time, okay? The intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. Bam, the science of yes. So what you want to get clear about around yes is that you know what you want in life, and you know through observation and experiment the actions you have to take to have those things. So doing what you always wanted to do in life, you have to take charge, say you want it, and then go after it. And that's why yes is a science, because through observation and experiment, you are busily, actively, aggressively going for what you want. Going for what you want because you say you want it and you're committed to having it. And so you take it on inside the science of yes. Hey, didn't know that, didn't you? So already you've learned some things. So when you take on yes, you are actually going with the flow of the universe, because I say the universe resonates at yes. I say the universe is always a yes to you, and that you have to be open to hear yes when you ask for something. Now we're going to take a second, because I like to use movie and music analogies to help my clients when I'm coaching them. So I'm going to take a minute to do an analogy for you right now. I'm just that kind of gal, okay? And one of the analogies that I love to use, is my favorite one, is from the Disney motion picture called Aladdin. Now, this is the animated one. I realize there's a live action one with Will Smith, which, I think that's really great and everything. But when I'm talking about Aladdin, I'm talking about the real Aladdin, the one where Robin Williams was the voice of the genie. And in this movie, if you haven't seen it, it's worth streaming. When Aladdin first goes in the cave, finds the lamp, rubs the lamp, and out pops the genie, who was the voice of Robin Williams. The genie told him, I'm going to grant you 3 wishes because you rubbed the lamp. And Aladdin was confused, like, what? 3 wishes, what? And so the genie sang this song to him. Now, I'm not going to burst into song, so no need to get nervous, but I am going to read to you the lyrics of the song he sang, because it emphasizes what I say the science of yes is. And the name of the song that he sang is You Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me. I'm going to read you some of the lyrics, so check it out. And you might want to take notes. You've got some power in your corner now, some heavy ammunition in your camp. You've got some punch, pizzazz, yahoo, and how. You see, all you got to do is rub that lamp, and I'll say, Mr. Aladdin, sir, what will your pleasure be? Let me take your order, jot it down. You ain't never had a friend like me. Life is your restaurant. I'm your maitre d'. Come on, whisper what it is you want. You ain't never had a friend like me. See, we pride ourselves on service. You're the boss, the king, the shah. Say what you wish. It's yours to this. How about a little more baklava? How about that baklava? Have some from column A. Try all of column B. Say, I'm in the mood to help you do. You ain't never had a friend like me. That's an exciting song, right? But guess what? I say the universe sings that song to you every day when you get up in the morning. You ain't never had a friend like me. What can I grant you today? And you're not listening. You don't hear, because consider for just a moment that the universe, in the voice of Robin Williams, is saying that to you. Take one from column A, take all from column B. What would you ask for? What would you be looking at? A new car, a new romance, a new career? What exactly do you want? The whole point is this: anything you want, anything that you want is available to you. All you have to do is ask for it. And then, wait for it, take the actions correlate with that are inside of, yes, I can have that. So you don't get to go for it believing all the time in the background that you can't have it. You actually have to take it on, knowing it's yours. It's a done deal. Now, you might be hearing a little bit of the elements of the law of attraction when I'm talking right now, and there's a reason for that, because I am talking about the law of attraction. And some people take on the law of attraction, but they forget the crucial part. You see, in order for you to be living in the science of yes, when you take on the law of attraction, you also have to take on the actions that are correlate to you having that thing. You have to believe, you have to know that that's your thing and start to take the road to get there because you know it's yours. And that's the piece that's missing for most people who operate inside the law of attraction. See, the law of attraction is a universal law of the universe. Whether you believe it or not is irrelevant. The universe has a lot of laws like that. You can't see it, touch it, or smell it. You can't prove it exists, but you live your life inside of the confines of it. The universe has a lot of laws like that. For instance, gravity. Gravity is one of those universal laws that you can't see it, touch it, or feel it, but you live your life inside the rules of it. You cannot go to the top of your building, whether it's your apartment, your house. What goes up must come down. And unless you have something pulling or pushing against the law of gravity, when you jump off that building, you're going down, down, down. Or if you're in an airplane, you're going up, up, up. But the airplane operates inside the confines of the law of the universe called gravity. There's a lot of laws like that. I could go on all day, but I'll mention another one because there's one law of the universe that we all learned when we were kids, at least those of us who had a bicycle. It's called balance. You can't see, smell, or touch it. You can't prove it exists, but you live your life inside the confines of it, because when you first get on that bike, unless you learn balance, unless you get it down, unless you got yourself smoothly sliding into that law, you're going to fall off that bike or those skates or whatever thing that you're taking on that requires balance. Law of the universe, whether you like it or not, you live your life inside of it. Same thing. The science of yes exists inside the law of attraction. And it's not a law you can prove. You can't see, touch, or feel it, but it's there and you live your life in the confines of it. And I'm giving you access by teaching you about yes, so that you can leverage your knowledge and belief in that power to have anything you want. So all you need to do is decide, what is it that I want? What is it that I'm going to go after? What is it that I'm going to take on? And then take it on. Take it on, do the actions correlate with you having that thing, and don't give up till you get it. unless you change your mind, you don't want it anymore. But remember, it's valuable for you to take on, that it's up to you. It's not up to your friend across the street. It's not up to your parents, and it's not their fault if you don't get it. So you're all grown now, and blaming your parents or blaming any backwards past incident from stopping you now today is all inside of you're not willing to own and be reliable to manifest anything you want. And I know that it's not easy. I know that for some of you, you've dealt with some major circumstances. Trust me, so did I. I have been a coach for many, many years, and I've had just about everything you can possibly imagine. My oldest child committed suicide in 2007. That broke my heart. I didn't think I'd recoup from that. I lost my job because I got so depressed I couldn't show up for work. Because I lost my job, I lost my dream home, which I manifested on a dime. I lost it that quick too. My beautiful dream car, I lost that too. I've been homeless. I've lived in my car. Anything that you could point to, that you could say is a loss, tragic, dramatic, or otherwise, has happened to me. And yet here I sit, surrounded by hearts on Valentine's Day, wishing you a happy Valentine's Day, loving life and loving the process I call the science of yes. Even in the midst of tragedy, you can generate past it because you say so. When you're being inside the power and the energy of yes, things happen for a reason. And I can tell you right now that one of the main reasons I generated myself past those tragic circumstances is so that I can help others do the same. It's hard for anyone to come up with anything that matches what I've been through, but it's not a competition. It's an opportunity to be compassionate and to show people no matter what life brings, you can still stand up and say, I can have that. I want that. It's going to be mine. So just like Aladdin, when he rubbed that lamp and he got access to the world of possibility, so can you. You can have access to that very world because anything's possible in the energy of yes. And I'm here to give away that energy. I give it freely. You can get it from me or you can generate it yourself. Whatever you do, go after it. Don't wait for it to come to you because it's not like that. It's only active when you turn it on. Some people say life is like a bowl of chocolate. I say life is like a baseball game. You see, life is the person who's throwing the ball, the pitcher. You are the man at bat. And life keeps throwing balls, throwing balls, throwing balls, throwing balls, fast balls, slow balls, spit balls, all kind of balls. Life's just pitching. And you are doing your best just to hit and swing away, right? Here's the thing. You have nothing to say about what life pitches at you. You don't get to say. You set out on a journey that's completely empowering to you, and then you get a flat tire. And you don't get to say, life pitches, you hit. But I'm going to tell you something, and here, this is when you want to listen up. You have everything to say about how you react to the balls that life pitches to you. And you can bemoan, complain, commiserate about the balls, or you can get in action and dance around and hit that ball as hard as you can and get to where you're going. Home base. Whatever you want is yours. It's available to you. How you react is completely up to you. And it's not to say that life is not without risk. It is risky to say yes in the face of things that happen that you don't like. Life can be mysterious, but as long as you're saying yes, life can go your way, and it will go your way every single time. Now, here's the other thing that comes up all the time when I talk about the science of yes. And I know that some of you are thinking it right now. Well, what about no? Am I supposed to say yes to everything? Can I say no sometimes? So when I say yes, I don't mean for you to, eliminate the word no from your vocabulary. This is not a conversation about semantics. There are a lot of things that you need to say no to. It's appropriate. There are times when somebody is pushing past your boundaries and you need to put your hand on your hip and snap your fingers and say no. No is not a bad word, and yes is not a good word. This is not about semantics. This is about a mindset. And it's not just positive thinking either. This is a mindset for power. This is a mindset for getting what you want. This is a mindset for taking action no matter what. You can have anything you want. Just say yes and be yes. So while you're crafting the life of your dreams, you're going to have obstacles. So when I talk to you about being of a positive mindset, it doesn't mean nothing bad or nothing untoward is going to happen to you. It doesn't mean obstacles are not going to take place. But what I'm saying is, don't try. My favorite celebrity, Yoda, has this saying, do or not do. There is no try, just do it. Now, I could tell you, I could say to you, say no. Say no to stress and stress-caused illnesses. Say no to unemployment and being a victim to your circumstances. Say no to emotional abuse and toxic relationships. I could tell you these things, and I could call my process the things to say no to, the science of saying no. But I'm not going to do that, because one of the biggest things I teach my clients is not to affirm with your speaking that which you do not want. Like, you don't go into a restaurant and pick up the menu, and when the waiter or waitress comes over, you look at them and say, okay, so don't serve me pancakes. I don't want pancakes. I hate pancakes. Pancakes suck. And if you bring me pancakes, I'm going to be really mad at you. So don't bring me pancakes. None of that. Right? You don't do that. I hope you don't do that. And you don't walk into a store and when the salesperson comes over, say, don't give me any clothes that have polka dots. I particularly don't like blue with white polka dots, but don't bring me any polka dots at all. I hate polka dots. Don't show me anything with polka dots. Don't do that, because I don't like that. You don't do that either, right? I mean, I hope you don't do that. You see, you don't want to lead with what you don't want. Always generating what you want. And if something shows up and it's not what you want, then dismiss it and keep focusing on what you want. Lead with what you want. Because you think that it may be silly what I just distinguished about pancakes and polka dots, but you do the same thing in your life. You talk all the time about what you don't like, about what you don't want somebody to do to you. And you're focusing on that, and you're bringing all this energy to that. And if you brought that same level of energy to what you want, you manifest it a lot quicker. So if you're a business owner, I'm a coach for entrepreneurs, specifically for conscious professionals. Like, in other words, spiritually motivated or mindful people who are up to big things. They're creative, they're transformational. Those are the entrepreneurs I work with best, because you're very, very intuitive and do things creatively. And it's hard for you in a structural corporate world to actually generate success and abundance. So my key is teaching you all the things that you can do to compete in a world that's very corporate when you are very transformational and spiritual. So for my free gift, I'm giving you an ebook that I wrote on how not to make the mistakes that people make when they're marketing their business. And I'm also going to give you a free consultation call where I'll go over those techniques with you and those strategies with you, so you can bring those strategies for marketing to your business and make more money and get more clients. Would you like that? And it's all inside the science of yes. So inside the science of yes and the power of yes, you face life with a different spirit, the spirit of yes. And, I can help you with that. There's a lot to be concerned about these days. There's a pandemic on. We just had, a president that leaves much to be desired as far as printed people go. And we have a whole new outlook on how we're going to live our life now that we're social distancing. And now that we've, seen that a global pandemic can rock our world. It's easy to understand why people are despondent and depressed right now, but you don't have to be. You can be inside the world of yes and say that anything you want, everything I want is available to you. And yes isn't a Buddhist mantra. I'm not trying to get you to say yes, 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 yes. But it wouldn't hurt to say yes. There's things about that, when I was young, and we won't discuss my age right now. And if you try to, I'll deny it. But when I was young, there was a song called High Hopes. I think Frank Sinatra sang it. And it was all about this little ant who would move this huge rubber tree plant. He was committed to moving, and oops, there goes another rubber tree plant. High hopes is about what you can take on for yourself and your life and everything you're up to. All your plans, all your things that you want to take on have everything to do with your attitude. So what you want to develop when you're in the presence of self-doubt, avoiding, money and money-making decisions, if you're feeling defeated, if you're feeling your self-worth is not there, your value is not there, and you're not getting it done, your life goals are just not happening for you, that's all inside of no. And you want to bring to yourself your yes mentality. You want to bring yes to the forefront. I can help you do that. So, I'm giving away that ebook for entrepreneurs. If you're not an entrepreneur and you just want advice, I'm a certified life coach as well. But remember, it starts with you. I can support, coach, and empower you, but it starts with you taking on the science of yes and being willing to live your life inside of it. And that pretty much is my shtick on the science of yes. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer them.
So what's your favorite word, Pam?
Yes.
You are an incredible inspiration. And I'll tell you, as I said, when we first began this segment, when Pam said, how long should I allow to get started on this journey? And I told her 6 weeks, and she's like, okay, good. We'll do it in 12 days. And it's miraculous. It was maybe a couple of days more than 12 days, but she took action, and she doesn't understand what an obstacle is. To her, it's just a revolving door. You just push it and it goes out of the way. And, we always have those obstacles. And I'm now humming High Hopes in my brain, by the way, which totally dates me, right? I'm gonna have to go
Me
Google
too.
it. I'm gonna have to go Google it and play it. But it's probably a good theme song for what's out there. It really is. And honest to God, I didn't even know the story about moving the rubber tree. I didn't have any clue what the hell the song was. It was just the tune that got me going, Pam. So
yeah. And why I bring it up even is because the ant reminds me of your story about me taking on that event. It's like you have high hopes that it'll turn out, and you just start pushing. And most naysayers would say, well, you're just getting started. You're not strong enough. You can't do that. And it's like, well, I have high hopes.
Yeah.
And it turned out, because as long as you're willing to take it on, the universe will support you.
Yeah.
The universe doesn't support no.
No, listen, just even look at this event. This event is total craziness to do an event with this number of speakers in this short time frame. I mean, it's nuts. But we did it, and we're doing it, and we're jumping through hoops. I mean, there's obstacles, there's technical glitches, and all sorts of excitement. But we're getting it done. We're creating history again, and it's pretty miraculous. So that says it right there. And to have you being part of it is certainly a privilege and a pleasure. I just want to say. So
thank you. Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here, and it's so exciting to be here, inside of Valentine's Day and full of love and the ability to receive and give it.
It's, when we first created World Love Week 6 years ago, and I've got to watch the time. We have less than a minute left before the next segment starts automatically. Our technology is working beautifully on streaming, which is terrific. I probably shouldn't have said that to jinx anything, but when we first embarked on this, the whole mindset was really, let's make the world a nicer, kinder place. And I was inspired by one person who created World Love Day, or actually Love Day at his place of business, and that was the guys at Mind Valley. And I was like, how can we make that bigger and better? And I was like, well, hell, love isn't about a day. It really should be about forever. Let's call it Love Week. I got the domain, and then we said, let's, World Love Week just seemed to work. So there we go. So Pam Heath, a pleasure and honor to have you with us.
Thank you.
You'll find, easy for me to say, you'll find Pam's gifts on the dashboard. Just click the link to go grab those. I recommend that you get them. And she used the word ebook, but I got to tell you, there's massive wisdom inside of that content. So go grab it right now, read it, implement it, and say yes. Pam Heath, thank you so much. I love you to pieces. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Ken Krell back again for another amazing session of World Love Week. And I got to tell you, I'm super excited about bringing this lady on because we worked together for the past, feels like 3 years, but it's only been like a month or so. And she is a master at what she does. She's absolutely incredible. She's the owner of Encore Elite Events and Speakers Need to Speak. And Danella Burnett is a creative force. And she is that, with a passion for connecting experts to those that they serve through speaking and events, while she creates profitable visibility, and she does an amazing job of it. Through her connections, millions of dollars have been generated and tens of thousands of lives impacted through live events. Today, she's going to talk about love language and how to speak your way to wealth and get speaking gigs today. She is, as I said, a force of nature. And the events that we've done, the last event we did, our last World Love Week, where she was with me for the last World Love Week 6 years ago, the last what was it called? Pride. That's it. Danella said to me, she said, Ken, you look really tired. I'm like, thanks a lot. But that's what happens when you're up and you're doing crazy events like this. When I brought this event to her, she said, you are on crack. What is wrong with you? And that's the kind of person I want to work with, someone who will tell you out exactly how it is. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend and my producer, not of this event, but of our next Pride again and our future Prides as well, Danella Burnett. Hey, kiddo.
Ken, thank you so much for having me here. And you know, when you shared this event with me 2 weeks ago, I did say you were crazy, but you really are crazy in a good way, because your heart and your passion to serve is evident in all that you do. And you know, you're crazy, but if I'm attaching myself to you and I keep going along with the ride, I don't know what that says about me. So
we're getting
we are in it together. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone, you know, and this is Love Week, and I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to bring some value to this event, give some direction to some people who want to share a little bit more love in what I think is the fastest and most profitable way of getting your message out there, and that is through speaking and live events, which I know Ken believes in as well. So I'm honored for the opportunity to share a little bit with the viewers this evening.
You're going to love this. And by the way, when you watch, some of you are watching this live right now, others will be watching it throughout World Love Week. So whether you're day, night, evening, morning, and remember, we are 24 hours. So for some of us, like for me, it's 12 noon in the afternoon here in Sydney, and it's super late in the day for those in Europe. So and this is how it even got crazier, because I was like, well, we can't screw Europe. We have to make sure they have reasonable time too. So we're running 24/7, about to set a world record, I'm sure, for the longest insanity event nonstop, such as it is. But here's what we'll do. I'm going to let you run with it for a bit. I'll come back and visit with you a little bit later, and I will see if I can't make myself look less exhausted when I return.
No one else would know but me, only because I'm such a good friend, that you're a little bit tired tonight, but you have, again, done an incredible thing here. And, you know, for those of you who are here listening, you know, I want to give you a little bit of a backstory, kind of who I am and what I am and why I am so passionate about speaking and live events. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and talk about speaking. And I am a big believer that speakers need to speak and they need to get paid. So why am I passionate about this? Well, let me just tell you a little bit about who and what I am. And, you know, let's start off with what are some of the benefits and challenges of speaking. And if you were here with us live, you know, answer in the chat. If you're watching this in the live broadcast in the group, I do have that up beside me. So feel free to answer in the Facebook group, and I'll either catch it live if we're here in the broadcast, or I will definitely be looking for your answers, and let's connect throughout this week. So what are some of the benefits and some of the challenges of speaking? Well, you build authority, you get leads, you can get clients, you make money, get connections. You can leverage your time. Instead of talking with just one person, you're now talking with many. Just before me was one of the greatest speakers in our generation, a prolific speaker, and that's Mr. Les Brown. Now, obviously, speaking on a stage with somebody like Les that I've had the privilege of doing in the past, that's going to build some authority. You know, when you speak, and whether it's now virtual or in person, you can get leads by offering people your services, inviting them to take your lead magnet or connect with you, text in for more information from you. But you can get leads, people who raise their hands and say they'd like more of the value you bring to the table. You can get clients directly from speaking. You can certainly make money from speaking in a variety of ways. When you're speaking, you're the one with the microphone, you're the one everybody's listening to. There are people who will want to connect with you. You can connect with other speakers, connect with other event hosts, and make amazing connections. And again, leveraging yourself from one to many. But what are some of the challenges to speaking? One, you've got to get good. Now, I have listened to many, many speakers tell me that they are natural speakers. I want to put that myth to bed right here and right now. There are natural talkers. There are people who are naturally more comfortable being in front of others. There are people who are more comfortable in sharing their point of view. But truly gifted, talented speaking, where you're sharing a point of view, where you're moving an audience, where you're creating transformation, where you're leading to a business or you're getting paid to speak, typically requires some coaching and or practice to get good. Become a master of your craft. And if your craft is speaking, then get the coaching, get the support that you need to get good on the stage and all elements of public speaking. Second challenge is finding the right stage. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as this goes on. Making the right offer. And that could be a free offer that you're making. It could be inviting people into your world. It could be selling from the stage. It could be, if you're a paid speaker, making the right offer to those employees or associates of the person who's paying you to speak, the right offer for them to buy into the message that you're sharing with them. And then, of course, following up. When you speak, you typically have to do a lot of follow-up. So how do I know some of what I'm sharing with you? Well, my name's Danella Burnett, and I do come from Atlanta, Georgia. It is the evening here. It's 8 p.m. on Valentine's night of Love Week. And wherever you are in the world, I hope that you've enjoyed your Valentine's and you have celebrated some love in your life today. I'm a wife and a mom. There's my husband, Lee, my daughter, Emma, my son, JB. And I am all in for events. I have loved live events and hospitality since the age of 9. And the reason I know that is it was the age of 9 where I fell in love with Julia Child. I had found her on television, and this was not like today where you could find the Food Network and different food shows on, you know, almost 24/7. I found her on television when you had bunny ears on the TV and you actually had to get up out of your seat to change the channel. I found Julia Child, and there was something about her, the lilt in her voice, the passion that she had for hospitality that literally spoke to something deep inside of me. And I have been in the hospitality space since then. Started working with a friend of the family who was a caterer when I was 15 years old. I did go on to culinary school. I have a culinary arts degree and a food service management degree, both from Johnson and Wales. And then I went on to the Washington, D.C. area, managing restaurants, training chefs, being a chef, owning restaurants, having a catering business. And then I moved here to Georgia 19 years ago. And while I had done some event producing in DC, I produced a a block long festival in Washington, D.C. We shut down the streets of D.C. and had our first Oktoberfest for a restaurant and a brewery that I was the general manager or assistant general manager of. We had done personal events. We had done weddings. We had done reunions. We had done corporate events. It was really when I moved here to Atlanta 19 years ago that I really stepped into the role of event producing. personal events, nonprofit events, galas, corporate, community events. The largest event that I work on every year is with Simon Properties and 4th of July event for 175,000 people. Then about 10 years ago, we really stepped into the space of speakers and experts and enrollment, and I love it. Coaching, I have seen lives be transformed by phenomenal coaches sharing their expertise from the stage, connecting with the people they're meant to serve, and lives changing around the world. So that is the space that we are in, that we love to serve. We produce multiple events every year, from 1 to 3 day events, our own as well as clients. I've had the privilege of authoring several books. We have a new book coming out next month called Visibility with our speakers community. And we'll be featuring that at the event that I'm going to tell you about at the end of this broadcast. Serial entrepreneur, I have every dollar I've generated for the last 13 years has come through our company. And now I'm a speaker strategist and a speak to sell expert, helping speakers be profitable and monetize their opportunities on the stage. So this is the situation. This is the work that I've been in for the last decade. And as you can imagine, I went into 2020 with big hopes and a vision board, that 2020 vision, if you will, and very excited for the possibilities. Just to give you a little bit of an idea of what my life has looked like the last 10 years, these are some of the live events that we've produced. We've been there with speakers, working with the Women of Global Change. You see Sharon Lecter. You also see the very recently late, great Frank Shankowitz of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. On the lower level here, this was actually our own event, our inaugural Speakers Need to Speak event in January in Atlanta last year. The great Monica Shaw. And as we continue to move forward, you'll see Laurel Langmeyer, Bill Walsh, Shelley Hunt, Araya McGarry, R.V. Robinson. This is basically what my life has been like the last 10 years. Suzanne Evans. This was my own stage, the Speakers Need to Speak stage. Mark Usick, phenomenal hypnotist and mental speaking expert. T.R. Garland. This was at a big event that we did in Toronto in 2019. And this is what I'm used to. The speakers speak on the stage, and then there is the rush at the end where your audience has taken your offer. They want to do more with you, and they come to the back of the room where this was my place in the world, and they either sign up to work with you in more detail because they want to go further, they want to go faster, and they want to work with the speakers and the experts that we work with. So we went into 2020 with our arms outstretched and looking forward to an amazing, amazing year of live events. And then, of course, 2020 happened. In March of 2020, the rug got pulled out from underneath of us, as it did with everyone else. But before I talk about kind of that rug getting pulled out from underneath of us, I do want to tell on myself. This next couple of pictures were the pictures that were in my presentation pre-COVID, pre the lockdown of 2020. I actually made fun of virtual events. I made fun of events like we're doing here. I did not think that you could have the same impact in virtual events as you did in person. So everything that I spoke about was in-person speaking, in-person events, stages where you stepped up and you were live in front of the audience that you wanted to share with. Now, you can imagine I've had to change my tune just a little bit, but I want to share with you what I shared before the lockdown. I would share this picture of my son on his first birthday and remind an audience that you would never take out your phone and text happy birthday to somebody. You know you need to be there. So texting, in my opinion, was not the right fit instead of in person. I would show this and I would talk about email. We would never email an important question like, will you marry me? And for those of you in the audience, had that question come in the form of an email, would you have said yes? Of course not. So I would talk to an audience about how email doesn't get the job done either. You need to be in person. And even better, this is a picture of me swimming with the dolphins in Jamaica, one of our big vacations in 2019. And I would make fun of Zoom. Can you believe that? I made fun of Zoom, that it was just as good as being there, right? Obviously, very sarcastic when I said that prior to March of 2020. And I would point out that, this is a great tool, and here digitally with you, these are great tools for connecting with people, for being efficient. But I did not believe that this could take the place of in person. Boy, have I been proven wrong. Because while I was ready to soar, and March of 2020, I wasn't sure where we were going to go. And my initial thought was, what is going to happen in 2020? I am so grateful to say that as experts, as event producers, event planners, event experts, speakers, and event hosts, we have turned around and created the most incredible events in this virtual space. So these are the companies that we have now. Encore Elite Events is how we help national and international producers such as Ken have amazing and profitable events by supporting them to get their goals accomplished. Here locally in Georgia, we have Oakwood Occasions, which serves events, the community events we do on a local basis. My husband and I also own Linear Tent Rental, tents and events, which was the hardest hit very, very quickly in 2020. The weekend of the 13th through the 16th, we had $121,000 in cancellations in tents and tables and chairs, from the university graduation to golf tournaments, weddings, anything that you can imagine that people had come to us to get tents and events. Everything from March through May was immediately canceled over that weekend. And we have our speakers community that we launched in 2019, where we help our speakers get out on more stages and we provide them leads, resources, and community. So while I felt diversified before March of 2020, I quickly discovered that we were still all in the event space, and we took a hard hit. However, I'm pleased to note now in 2021, all of our businesses across the board have actually had our best year ever, because we did make the shift to virtual, and because our tents actually were very much needed for COVID treatment and testing. So grateful to say we have moved forward and made the shifts that we needed to, and the shifts that I want to help you make to make sure that you are speaking and using events to grow your business. So this is what it looks like now. It's crazy, but everything that I said, making fun of virtual events, I now live and breathe on a daily basis. I've always believed that where there are great challenges, there are great opportunities. And 2020, I think, showed that to us in a big, big way. So speaking and events are still the answer. So this is what it looks like now. That's my office. I now have multiple computers set up, multiple laptops. Here we actually have me speaking right next to Mr. Brown, who spoke a moment or so earlier today, speaking with Les on a stage here virtually. Another event that we did, here's what it looks like. Here doing an event with Brian Tracy. Here we have an event, 2020 and 21 are actually so much better than they were before, because there's more speaking opportunities than ever. You have social media live shows, there's been a podcast explosion, and there's even more live opportunities that you can share your message, share your brilliance, share what you want to with the world, and grow your business and have events. So I want to share with you, I often have speakers come to me and they go, how do I find speaking opportunities? So I'm going to share 5 free ways for you to find speaking opportunities here in the virtual space. And so you might want to get a pen. This is a great time to get a pen and a piece of paper. And while you're getting that, I'm just going to peek really quick and see if there's any comments over here on the Facebook page. Great. Hi, Charmaine. Hi, Michelle. Glad to have you here. And Michelle says 2020 wasn't lying about being the year of clarity, and you are absolutely right in that. So while you've gotten your pen and your paper, I'm going to share with you 5 free ways that you can find speaking opportunities. And again, if you have comments, feel free to put them in the chat, and I will check on that periodically because I love to answer questions and make sure that you get the resources and the tools that you need. So the first way for you to find speaking opportunities right here in the virtual space is to take a look at your network. But what I mean by your network is all the areas that you're connected to, and not just professionally. Maybe you are connected to your children's PTA. Maybe you are connected to alumni associations or business associations. Maybe it's your networking groups. Maybe it's your personal, the hobbies that you have. Maybe you're connected to associations or organizations. I would encourage you, and you can even look in your checkbook, like, where do you pay membership dues to? You know, is there a country club? Is there, you know, a local club that you're a part of? Is there a national organization? What is your network that you are connected to, that you are a member of, or that you follow on a regular basis? Write down a list of all of those and then reach out to each one of them. See if there are speaking opportunities in those networks. Maybe you've never thought of speaking at your local chamber of commerce, or you've never thought of speaking to your kids' PTA. Now that there is this virtual opportunity, there are great opportunities to share doing a workshop, maybe for a group that you've never done one for before. Maybe there's speaking opportunities that you've just never taken a look at before. So your network could be filled with great speaking opportunities. So list all of those, reach out and see if there are speaking opportunities in your network. Take a look at your past. Pull out your calendar from 2018, 2019, even 2020. And if you've attended an event or you've spoken at an event, and if you ever kind of looked around at the audience around you, whether they were in front of you or beside you, and you thought to yourself, these are my people. I'd really like to share with this audience. I have something of value that I can give to them. Then you want to reach out and find out, are they doing events now? Do they have an event on their calendar? Can you create an opportunity to speak to them? Can you speak in their social media, in their group? Can you put together a workshop? Do they have a larger event coming up? Do they have podcasts? So take a look at your past in order to fill your calendar for the future. The third is collaborations. Now, what I mean by collaboration and why this is different than network is a collaborator is someone where you share the same audience, but you serve them in a different way. For example, I speak to speakers, authors, experts, event hosts, coaches. I speak on speaking. I speak on producing events. I don't speak on books, for example. So a good collaboration for me could be anyone who's in the book space, like a publisher or a ghostwriter or a coach on books, or somebody who helps market books. Anyone on the book side of the business, that's a great collaboration where maybe we could do something together, or I can invite them to speak to my audience of speakers, authors, experts, event hosts. And if I offer for them to speak to my people, they're likely to offer for me to speak to theirs. So those collaborations where you share the same audience, but you serve them in a different way, is a great opportunity for collaboration. That one tip alone could easily keep your calendar filled for the foreseeable future. Look at all of those people that, other coaches that either have events, you can do swaps on social media, you can do swaps on stages, but you collaborate in ways that you work together to even better serve the audience that you share. The fourth way is social media. Now, social media can sometimes be a little bit of a rabbit trail. So I do encourage you to be really purposeful in the way that you use social media to find speaking opportunities. One, you can post on your social media. Make sure every once in a while on your LinkedIn profile or your Facebook profile, in the about section, it should say that you're a speaker and what kind of speaking opportunities you're looking for. So when people go research you on social media, they see that. You can also post your speaker one sheet every once in a while on your social media postings so that people see what your talk titles are, what you want to speak about, what value do you bring to a stage. You can also use social media to look at their calendars to see what events are coming up. You can, and you want to be in the social media where your audience is. So whether your audience is on Instagram or Pinterest, LinkedIn, Facebook, or now Clubhouse, that's where you want to be. And I'll touch on Clubhouse briefly. It's become all the rage in the last month or two, to be on Clubhouse. You literally can create your own stage on Clubhouse at any time by opening a room. Open a room with a great topic, a great title that's going to share what your topic is about. You might even have invited some other people to moderate that room that speak on the same topic, and you literally have created your own stage. You can do the same thing with Facebook Lives or LinkedIn Lives. I now host 2 Clubhouse rooms every week. One on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern called Podcasts and Events, Grow Your Audience, Authority, and Profits, and one on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern called Speakers Need to Speak. It's the name of my speakers community, so I'm getting that word out there. But then we pick a topic that's relevant for speakers, and we invite seasoned and starter speakers to share their point of view, get feedback, get tips, and I frequently invite other event producers and other event experts to give valuable feedback to speakers. So I've created those 2 stages weekly by creating a Clubhouse room that's interesting to the audience that I want to serve. So social media can be a great way to find or create your own speaking opportunities. And I do also, I mentioned before, but can be a little bit of a rabbit hole and take up a bunch of time. So you do want to be very purposeful in what you do with social media and speaking opportunities. I'm going to look really quick and just refresh before we go to number 5, see if we have any questions for those first few requests on the Facebook page. Great, not just yet. If you do have questions, feel free to go ahead and put them on the Facebook group right underneath this broadcast. So number 5 is research on Google. Now this too can be kind of an opening for rabbit trails. So you want to be really purposeful in the way you do research on social media. I like to remind everyone that speakers need to speak, but they also need to get paid. So I like to use the acronym SALE. So if you'll write down on your notes, number 5, the acronym SALE, I'm going to tell you what those 5 things are for me to do a great keyword search to find speaking opportunities using Google. So I think speakers need to speak, but they also need to get paid. So the first S stands for speaking opportunities. And you want to use some variation of speaking opportunities, or speaker as your first keyword when you do a Google search. I have 2 words for audience because I believe using 2 descriptors of your perfect audience is just going to get you a more targeted search and better results that you can then follow up with to find speaking opportunities. Oops. By now, if you are a speaker, you should have a laundry list of words that describe your perfect audience. If you don't, this is a great opportunity to do that. You want to use adjectives and nouns that describe your perfect audience. So in my case, it's men, it's women, it's professionals, it's speakers, it's experts, it's coaches. You want to have a list like that as well. And when you're using this Google method, you want to use 2 words. So if you want to speak to millennial professionals, or you want to speak to male dentists, or you want to speak to women corporate executives, using 2 different descriptors of your perfect audience each time you do a search is just going to get you a better result in that first page or 2 of results. And then the next time you do a search, you can switch up those words. The 4th is location. Now, right now, everything's virtual. You might say, why do I need to put in a location? Well, the location can still be important for 2 reasons. One, your product or services or programs might serve a local audience. So the location might be important to you because you want to be speaking more so to a local audience. Maybe you want to expand nationally. Maybe you want to expand into another state. Maybe you want to start speaking internationally in this virtual world. I have found that event hosts still have the greatest amount of influence in the area that they are in. So the location, even though the event may be virtual, the audience is still likely to be more centered around the location of the event host. So if the location matters to you because you either want to grow into a new area or you want to stay in a smaller geography, the location is important. And of course, as we move on this year and we move, into hybrid and we move back into in-person events, that location can still be very critical. So you do want to have a location in there, and it might be your city, your county, your state, the country. It might be international. So that location will again help you just get better search results. And number 5 is the event type. Maybe you want to speak to smaller groups and you like a more intimate or workshop style presentation. In that case, you would want to use words like meetup or workshop or networking group. Maybe, I said meetup. Maybe you want to speak to larger audiences. And if that's the case, you want to use words like expo or conference, live event. So the event type, using that terminology, will also help identify the kind of event that you're going to speak at and what's going to come up first in that search. Now, this can be a very time-consuming task. This could be something that you could delegate to a VA. This could be something that you use a service like ours to do for you. This is a big reason why we launched Speakers Need to Speak, was because we discovered a lot of speakers don't take the time to do some of these things that I've just shared with you. These are all free ways to find speaking opportunities, but they are things that will require time, either your time for somebody on your team, or time that you outsource to someone else. And you may have noticed that virtual is at the speed of fast. And so whether you're using these free techniques or you're getting some support and getting out on speaking gigs, you want to work quickly, you want to work systematically, and you want to work consistently, because that's what will keep your calendar filled. One of the reasons that we launched Speakers Need to Speak was we were constantly putting speakers into our own events or into our clients' events, and we would have speakers coming back to us and saying, "That was great. Can you find me another opportunity?" And we paused for a long time because I didn't know about putting speakers into other opportunities. But when enough people ask you the same question, how many people, and you can, let me know in the chat, how many of you have created something because your clients basically told you that was what they wanted from you? Well, that was exactly what happened in our case. We had enough clients who were telling us that they wanted help, that they were having difficulty getting speaking opportunities. And so we got to work on how can we help our speakers, because there's plenty of speaking opportunities out there. Pre-COVID, there were 7,000 speaking opportunities every single day in the United States. And now in this virtual world, there are anywhere 3 to 5 times that amount every single day. So it's not a lack of speaking opportunities. It is challenging, though, to find the right speaking opportunities for you that are going to get you the results that you're looking for, whether you're looking for more authority, or you're looking for more leads, you're looking for more clients, or you're looking to get paid to speak. It can be a challenge to find those right opportunities quickly, and you've got to be doing it consistently. Because the other challenge that we saw speakers having prior was if they had a few gigs on their calendar, they stopped doing some of this work. But when those gigs are completed and you're looking ahead at a calendar that doesn't have the speaking opportunities you want, we would see speakers get busy with some of these tasks. Well, that kind of roller coaster activity doesn't really help you grow your business. Consistency and having a system for finding speaking opportunities, reaching out to them, and securing those opportunities is really the way to grow your business. And that's why we created Speakers Need to Speak, in order to bring leads, resources, and community to speakers to support them in that system and that consistency, and to get out on more stages around the world, whether they're virtual or in person. So again, I'll just reiterate or let you guys, if you didn't take notes before, these are all the benefits of speaking and the challenges, and we wanted to solve some of those challenges for our clients. So we created Speakers Need to Speak. And the first thing that we offer every single month to our speakers is 100 hot speaking leads. And these leads are actually curated every single month by my team, doing that kind of research that a lot of speakers don't have time for. They curate these, meaning they find them and they speak to somebody to make sure that is a valid speaking opportunity. They are looking for speakers. It is open for the right speakers to apply for those opportunities. So we found that speakers needed to know they were going to have speaking leads every single month, and we provide that. The second thing that we provide all of our speakers from the beginning is our Crush It from the Stage checklist. This is, whether it's a virtual stage or an in-person stage, this is all of the things that you want to have completed. Your speaker one sheet, all of the things you want to do to mentally and physically prepare to take the stage, all of the things that you want to have in place after the stage. This is that checklist that, regardless of your speaking opportunity, you can pull this checklist out and make sure that you are ready, you are prepared, you are positioned, and you are ready to be profitable from the stage. We also know that speakers need community and they need ongoing resources. Speaking is not one and done. It is a journey. So in our Speakers Need to Speak community, we also have 3 monthly times where you can plug in and get the 10-minute topic is me as the expert, letting you know what's going on in the industry. We also bring in experts from outside our community to share with you more ways to get good, get paid, get clear, get gigs, and get events. And we have a networking event every month, because our community needs to be connecting to each other, because when one speaker gets opportunities, often it's a great opportunity for another speaker. And we see our speakers doing business with each other because they are authorities in such diverse topics. We also have a podcasters looking for guest directory. Podcasts didn't used to be looked at in the same vein as a stage that you stepped up on, but we now really look at all of these speaking opportunities, as visibility events. So podcasting is an important part of speakers getting their message out, finding clients, and getting heard. So we have a podcasters looking for guest directory with over 700 podcasters that you're going to get access to on day one of joining our community. We also have upcoming events, and I want to definitely share with you, and I'll put the link in the chat. We have an event coming up on March 4th through the 6th. It's our next Speakers Need to Speak visibility event, because we know you want to connect with other speakers and you want to get all of the resources and tools that you need to be a better speaker. So over this 3 days, I'm going to have experts in, and we're going to go all through the speaker's journey as it is here in 2021 to support you. But an exciting thing is we also have a speakers competition. Throughout this competition, every attendee is encouraged to apply to speak. And throughout the weekend, we will have all of our speakers giving their point of view, getting feedback from professional event producers, event hosts. Ken will be one of our judges as well, as some other experts that I'm bringing in. That prize package is over $10,000 in speaking opportunities, cash, prizes, programs, and services that you as speakers need. And if you join Speakers Need to Speak, you're going to get automatic upgrades to VIP, and you're going to get invited to our Speakers Need to Speak visibility event. In addition to events that we do throughout the year, last year we had 4 separate events for our members. Frequently, our members are invited for free, or they will get upgrades like we're doing for the Speakers Need to Speak visibility event. We just had a workshop a couple of weeks ago where I had experts like Jim Britt, Blue Melnick, Suzanne Evans, the actress Kim Coles, and several others that came in just to speak to our community, and it was free of charge for our members to attend, because I know you not only need my expertise, but in order to continue to grow in your speaker's journey, you need access to the top of the top industry experts around the world, and we bring you that. You're also going to get a weekly orientation and training on using the speaker leads. So every week we have an office hour that you can pop in. It is complimentary to all of our members. So you are never more than a few days away from being able to get your important questions answered. So if you are having a challenge with a speaker's application, if you've created a new one sheet and you want some feedback, if you want to go over a new story that's in your talk and you want to get some feedback from me and from other members of the community, if you want some support around answering a question on a speaker application, whatever it is, you're never more than a few days away from being able to get that immediate help that you need by just plugging in to the open office hour that we have every week so that we can support you. Our philosophy is, as a speaker, you need to get clear, you need to get good, you need to get paid, you need to get gigs, and you need to get events. And this is a journey that you're going to be on for as long as you're a speaker. I want to talk a moment about hosting your own events, because many of our speakers do become event hosts. Some of the benefits of being your own host, which is leveraging your own platform, is you get huge authority. You can grow your community, you can sell high ticket items, you can fill your other programs, create amazing partnerships, you can leverage one-to-many. There are challenges with hosting an event. It could be expensive. You have to fill the room. You have to know how to market the room. It takes time and it takes team. Well, how would you like to know how you can do that quickly? Well, we're going to be hosting a one-day workshop called the Live Event Navigator. If you join our community, the Speakers Need to Speak community, you will get an invitation to our one-day workshop. And in that one-day workshop, you're going to learn about planning, the strategies, the process for launching an event, understanding the energies of events, how to budget. This is a great overview. Now, this is not going to turn you into an event producer. What it is going to do is make you an educated event host so that you can move forward with your own event without losing your shirt or losing your sanity. Well, we're going to be doing, and I'm going to skip over this. I wasn't sure I was going to show this presentation, so I didn't update this. We will be scheduling a new one of these in April. So by joining our community, you'll obviously get our new date, and we're going to offer you a ticket to that workshop as a gift when it's planned in April. So if you're ready to get on more platforms, to have the right event experience, and possibly make money with live events, I would ask you to join me in this virtual world. The fastest path to making money with events, speaking and hosting, and join us in Speakers Need to Speak. I've already shared with you a little bit about what our Speakers Need to Speak program includes, and it is easily valued at over $4,000. But because you are here with the World Love Week, if you go to our website right now, you'll see that Speakers Need to Speak is $9.97 per year. And we also offer it as a $99 a month. But because you're part of World Love Week, I'm going to put a link in the chat, and you're going to be able to get this for $797 for the year, $200 off our annual pricing. So instead of $9.97 per year, it'll just be $7.97. You're going to get a full year. I'm going to go through these next that are a different link. Sharing with some of our success stories of our clients. These are some of the things that we've helped them do in the last year in this virtual space. You can see booking events, hosting their own events, speaking at other events, and generating large sums of money, getting great new clients. And there, just last month, we booked our speakers into 105 speaking opportunities alone. So again, these are the benefits to Speakers Need to Speak. We're also going to give you a ticket to that Live Event Navigator, and we are going to gift you a ticket to the upcoming Live Event Navigator and our upcoming Speakers Need to Speak event. So that's been a lot of information I've given you in the last 49 minutes. I'm going to look really close and see if we have, thank you, DK. He tells me that our last workshop was awesome. He was there with us with those experts. And I'm going to see if there's any other comments here. And I see Ken has just joined us again.
I never left you. I was just off,
listening.
I was just off camera. No, you have an amazing community, and a number of our speakers actually during World Love Week have come from Speakers Need to Speak as well, and they're wonderful people. I know DK is one of your members, and he's one of my favorite people too. He's actually been featured at some of my events. So you do have a great community, and if this resonates for you, then you should go ahead and grab the link to go ahead and do. Did you give everybody the link yet, Danella?
I'm actually putting it in the chat in the Facebook group right now.
Okay, awesome. And what we'll do also, it will be on the dashboard on the page that you've got, and I think Charmaine's getting that in place for you now as well. So you guys you guys will be able to have that also. I recommend it. No one goes on my platform, just so you guys know. No, and when I say guys, that's a technical term, that's generic for human, just so that no one feels offended by that. In any event, I don't put anybody on my stage that I don't recommend, that I don't feel comfortable with. And if I don't have personal experience with them, then it's a very strong referral. So that, because again, your name is your bond in this business, and you truly need to stand behind what you do. So it's really important. Just as Danella recommended this event to her speakers, I recommend, and not as a tit for tat, but because truly we want to hang out with the right people. Think about the communities that you want to hang out in. We talk about World Love Week and the idea that love really is a great way of doing business. Well, taking care of the people that you work with is important. You know, when I approached Danella about actually doing some joint ventures together, because her community is a perfect community to be trained on what I teach during our Pride events, which is how to produce ridiculously irresistible digital events, which frankly, Danella does a lot of for me, because as you know, doctor should not heal thyself. Lawyer should not lawyer for thyself. So those that are professionals in this business will bring on people to do the legwork so that they don't have to focus on mechanics, they can focus on delivery. Very important distinction there. My attitude about a presentation and about an event is that if I'm going to deliver the content, which is what I teach you to do, you need someone that can be there to make sure that the actual mechanics of the event run super smoothly, so you can focus on your audience rather than, gee, where's that video? Where's that audio? Oh my gosh, the chat's going down, you know, or the website crashed, or whatever the heck it could be, you know, or wait, the speaker didn't show up, you know, which has happened before. So I got to tell you that to have what I consider a partner to work with you on that is golden. And so I have that in this a beautiful woman that you're looking at right now, who has really been there. Yeah. And I can tell you that when you choose a training partner, education partner, a business partner, if you will, and it doesn't mean an equity partner per se, it means someone that you do something together with to reach a common goal. Having that person of like mind is critically important. And, you know, we can continue to have the, you know, the accolades for each person type of thing. But we talk so much about right fit audience, and the term audience is another technical term. Having the right fit people to work with, the right team, for example. So right now, while we're here in the front of the camera, Charmaine, who's on my team, is taking care of some of the back end stuff, and she's doing it with a headache. So everyone send healing energy to Charmaine, because she's been putting in a lot of extra hours, and she makes things happen. That could not happen without, again, the right fit. So whoever you work with, have that right fit go on, and choose your communities wisely, because the right community will raise you up. The right community will support you through your journey. I can tell you that our Safari community, for example, which is my high-end coaching program, when they heard about Zor's interest in helping people in his home country of South Sudan, help him bring solar to them, they were like, how can we help? How can we help? Which is how this event took place. Having that community of cheerleaders to cheer you on the same way is so important. And just knowing the heart that you're looking at right now in front of you, the community that she attracts, you know, you're kind of crazy not to be part of it. If you're feeling in your body right now the resonance of, she's pretty cool, I want to hang out with her, then you want to just go ahead and click that link and make it happen. That's just my take on it. And I could go on for hours about you, but I can tell you what else. So if you take a look at the ROI of what you do, of training and development, and you can just shut me up whenever you want. This is really your time, Danella, but you know, you got me going, girl. You got me going. If you take a look at the ROI of that, one idea, one speaking gig, one moment of time can change everything. And I got to tell you, your events don't need to make you a lot of money up front, but the connections they bring to you can make you lots of money over and over and over again. And that is a huge case in point. When we ran, and some of you are seeing, when we finish this segment with Danella, we will be showing more replays, some great replays of our Opportunity Fund event, which we had last year. Well, that event, while it didn't make a fortune, it provided a valuable service and kickstarted an entire new career for me worth millions of dollars, literally millions of dollars. And more than that, refreshed relationships with people such as Les Brown, who's coming on with us live during this week at what is this week? World Love Week. Yeah, there we go. You know, and by the way, being real with your audience is so important. So having that connection with so many other speakers and so on, and being part of that community really makes a humongous difference. And even if it's just nothing more than making a great friend, what's that worth to you?
Well, sharing your brilliance, you know, I know that I spoke a lot about business here, but honestly, sharing what's on your heart and you have a passion about and the way that you serve the world is sharing love. I mean, it's a perfect tie into this week. I have long since believed that it is the speakers and the experts and the intuitives and those that are getting their messages out there are what's going to fix that broken world.
Yep.
So if you have a message inside of you, get good on a stage. Have somebody like me support you getting out there and helping people. That is, helping people is the greatest expression of love, in my opinion. And you need to have support to do that, because speaking in events is not a solo sport by any stretch of the imagination. And Ken touched on that. You know, when Ken produced his event, now he's been a professional event host and event producer for many, many years. But when he did his event, he hired me to support him in the back of the room. My events, we bring on support. I mean, you've got to have the right support around you. You're not meant to do this alone. And this week, tying in, find the support in this group. Everyone who's connected here through World Love Week, these are the people that want people to succeed. So find collaborative partners here. Find creative people in relationships and partnerships. Like Ken said, it's not necessarily that legalistic partnership in business, but find those people you can collaborate with and partner with that are good at the things you're not. And so you could do the things that you are, and together you go further and you go faster and you help more people. So I'm just grateful to be a part of this week and share a little bit of you know, my knowledge with everyone here, and I look forward to connecting.
You know, I by the way, I'm so totally grateful for your being here and sharing your time, sharing your love, and in the planning stage of this, sharing your time and your wisdom, even if it was encouraging me to go down this rabbit hole of insanity this week. Having that cheerleader that's with you is really, really important. And I got to tell you, if you're going to take speaking on as a journey, and I recommend that you do, because I'll give you something else to think about. We've had some people on the platform over this course of just the beginning of World Love Week that have talked about their adversity, that have talked about the challenges that they've had, whether it's been suicide or divorce or death or you name it. Trust me, there's enough theoretically bad stuff out there, right? But when you're on a stage and you're using that as a tool to help others, your dark days seem to melt away because you're out there giving to other people. And that's a fantastic means of therapy. So I just want to acknowledge you for watching, you for being here with us, Danella. And I want to encourage you guys as we land this plane, because I think who's coming up next, Roland Fraser is coming up next. And it's a fantastic interview that I did with him and he'll reveal how in 5 days he created nearly $750,000 and then went on after this interview was completed, after he went on doing millions after that with just a 5-day program that just called on his expertise. Nothing more, he knew all the stuff he was delivering. So it's pretty amazing. So Danella Burnett, you are a gem. I love you to pieces. I encourage all of you to join her, and you can catch her. You'll see her on the dashboard. She put some links in the chat. Grab her as best you possibly can from a distance and become part of her community. I love you.
Love you too. Look forward to seeing you all at our event in a couple of weeks. And if membership is right for you, love to invite you into our community. And if you're not sure, just come to the event and meet some of our community. And I cannot wait to support you. And Ken, I love you as always.
Thanks, Danella. See you. Bye, everybody. Here comes Roland Fraser.
I stand for love. Do you?
Hey, this is Captain Lou, and I stand for love, baby. Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? Yes. Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to World Love Week. Once again, thrilled to have you guys with us today. And this is, by the way, I can say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, because it is morning in Southern California where Bridget is. It is the middle of the night here in Australia, 3 a.m. But today, this morning, and this morning actually technically here as well, you're going to be treated to the excitement of Bridget Callahan. And I tell you, I'm thrilled to have her with us because when most speakers, executives, and entrepreneurs go to create a presentation, they really have no idea how to convey what they want to say in an engaging and compelling way. But after working with Bridget, her clients show up with PowerPoints that are easy for them to deliver. The audience ends up retaining the concepts and remembering the speaker as the true expert that they are. They don't have death by PowerPoint, in other words. Bridget's on a mission to end the tyranny of those boring PowerPoints or keynotes for that matter. And she's passionate about helping people and speakers create presentations that engage and inspire their audience and turns them into raving fans. Today, you're going to discover how to break through slide shame. I haven't heard of that before. Slide shame, good way to call it. How you can love your slides again and how your audience is going to love you for being nice to them and nice to their eyes. Just even look at the presentation she's delivering right now, just to your eyes as you see her elegantly in the screen with the right lighting, with the right backdrop. Ladies and gentlemen, Bridget Callahan, how you doing?
Good, good. Thank you. It's great to be here. A World Love Day or World Love Week.
It's just,
love it.
It's many World Love Days combined. Thrilled to have you with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready to share some great before and after slides and really give people a chance to see what does a good slide look like. And learn to love your slides again.
Yay. That's a great slogan. Learn to love your slides again. I love that. I love that. Well, I'll let you run because I know you got some stuff prepared, and I can't wait to see this because we're graphics people. We talked a bit before we went live, and so when Bridget was like, "Here's what we do," I'm like, "Oh, I got to hear this. I got to see this." And I love the before and afters. It's sort of like watching a train wreck and how it got rested. So I will let you take it away, and I'll be here with you as needed.
Okay, great. Let me get set up here.
I did make you a co-host, I think, didn't I?
There we go. Okay, so are you seeing my slides okay?
I love it. Yes, that's beautiful. It's great.
So we want to break through slide shame, and we want to see how we can love our slides again. So what would it be like for you to love your slides again? If you've ever loved your slides, or maybe you haven't, what does that mean, right? And for some, how many people might have a presentation coming up so that tension is coming up that I need to get this going here. So in 20 minutes, I'm going to show you how you could up-level your presentation slides to match your expertise and to convey your message so your audience is thrilled they listened and glad they came. And we're going to look at how the brain works and retains information from a visual sense, and how your talk can convey 100 or 1,000 more words per slide than what you say alone. We always heard that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, I'm going to tell you why, okay? And your audience will appreciate your efforts and they'll want to work with you. Again, my name's Bridget Callahan and I'm your presentation experience strategist. I've worked many live events, taking changes from speaker slides just before they hit the stage and providing that calm effect for them so they can be their best. I've worked many large shows and small, and I've got to witness the results of these speakers and how their audience reacts. And unfortunately, I've seen many of them wondering if their time was well spent. I realize the impact the event can have on the audience, and I've seen all too often how speakers can make or break their experience based on their presentation and delivery. It amazes me how much money is invested in an event with travel, hotels, meals, venue rental, and yet they don't spend much mind share to the content and delivery of their message. To give you a little more background about me, I've worked with many Fortune 500 companies, including medical, pharmaceutical, banks, and auto. And I've had many stories of working backstage and witnessing performances that were both good and maybe not so good. And I know how important it is for the audience to have a great experience. I'm actually here today as an advocate for your audience. And I'm being their voice and letting you know what they need to see in order for them to consume and understand the information you're providing, and maybe even generate a higher conversion rate due to their increased connection with you. I'm all about, I'm committed to abolishing the boring slide and create a win-win experience for you and your audience. In this short talk, I promise I'm going to convey to you how to keep it simple, how to avoid those pesky bullets, and how to tell a story. So let's get started. We want to keep it simple. And what I mean by that, like the underlying thing, is no white backgrounds. And I say that because our eyes, when we're looking at projected light, which is light coming from a monitor or a projector, it has us want to look at the light, right? So think of yourself in a movie theater, and you've got your popcorn, you've seen all the trailers, the movie's about to start, and then the movie starts playing, the music wells up, and it's like, oh, exciting, the movie's starting, but they didn't turn the lights down. And you're like, hey, turn the lights down, the movie started. It's like that. Putting a slide on a white background is like you're shining a flashlight in their light, in their eyes. And so give you an example, look at this slide and notice how it's kind of jarring. And then when you try to read the text, our brain is actually looking at, we're trying to conjugate the dark on the light. And when I show some future slides, you're going to see, like if I go back to this slide, notice how our eyes go to the light, the letters, it's easier to read. So when you look at this, we have to conjugate each shape and then each letter and then each word and then put them together. And then we form a word and then a sentence and then a paragraph. You're talking about a lot of brain power. And if you want to put your audience to sleep, put all your slides on a white background. They'll be dead in 10 minutes. They're just gonna, their brain will be dead. They just can't listen anymore. And so in the industry, we have a name for this. We call this the eye chart, when they put so much text on a slide and you can't even see it. Like the back of the room, it's just a bunch of little pixels. So why do we do that? So I'm going to show you some before and after slides. This first slide is the actual slide I found. They grabbed a graphic from probably the website or, you know, some browser, and they slapped it on a white background. And it's like, it doesn't really even make sense what they're doing. So I said, what would it look like if I redesigned this? So I like the graphic. I think it's nice and colorful and simple and clean. It's like, make that graphic big and fill the screen. And then I took the left side, fill it with a dark background, and then light text that matches the color of the background of the graphic. And it's a nice cohesive graphic. Notice how simple this is. So again, before, that bright flashlight in your eye, and after, it's compelling. It's got that wow factor. It's pleasing. It's engaging. This next slide is a client of mine. This was his sample funnel. And I'm like, that's not a sample funnel. Let me show you a sample funnel. You know, it's got a graphic interpretation of what a funnel is, and it points to the words. It's easy to read the words. They're big enough that you can read it. It's just more fun. Okay. And then this was another slide of his. He called it his hot seat. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, that's not a hot seat. This is a hot seat. And when I showed this to him, he just loved it. And to me, I look at that, and that looks like a really comfy chair. I could sit in that and be cool. But then you're surrounded in this desolate background, and the clouds look like it's going to rain. It's a little scary, but that's what a hot seat is. You know, it's comfortable, but it's a little bit unnerving. So this worked really well for him. And, you know, I say avoid bullets. And why do I want to avoid bullets? Because you want just some clean, text, you don't want to have to keep listing things. We get bored of the listing things. So I'm going to show you how to avoid those bullets. And I say under no circumstances, don't use bullets, because we know bullets kill. We've heard death by PowerPoint. How can we avoid those pesky bullets? So here's an example of a slide I got from a client, and she listed her title and then her bullets. And to me, it's just slapped together. It's not laid out well, but I like the picture and what she's talking about, you know, how the body ages and stuff, and how things can increase age quickly, and how you can take care of yourself. It's like, wow, I just want that picture full frame. So I said, make it full frame. You could tell them your bullets. You don't have to list them. And, you know, you can have your title in the footer area. Here's another slide that was used to be a bulleted slide. It's basically just a nice graphic that conveys what you're going to learn today. And then here's a cool bullet. This is taking Post-it notes and turning them into bullets, or they were bullets, turning them into Post-it notes.
That's
and what I loved
cool.
about
that's so cool. I've tried to jump in. That is so cool. I like that a lot.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
I actually did this for a guy who was a former executive of Microsoft, and it was hard for him because he was looking for the bullets.
Yeah. That's stunning.
But,
that is so stunning.
Yeah, and what's cool about this is you're going to be talking in detail about those bullets later in the slides. And again, we're going to show a nice picture that's really speaks 1,000 words. And we would take that Post-it note and put it in the corner of the picture so it related to that bullet. Sure. And you might have 2 or 3 slides that go with that bullet, you know, or that Post-it note in the corner. And then here's the last one. I don't have the before slide, but imagine this slide was a white slide with 4 bullets in it. And this is what I turned it into. And she was talking about, you know, how do you stay in faith? You can't be halfway. And this was an animation actually created in PowerPoint. It does it in PowerPoint, but I found that sometimes PowerPoint hiccups up, you know, does a hiccup with the animation. So I actually created a video. So there's a video embedded into PowerPoint. Okay, so number 3 is we want to tell a story. And we heard all these things about when you're talking nowadays, you want to tell a story. And we like storytelling. And how do you tell stories about boring statistics? Well, if you watch the news nowadays, they create all kinds of story around COVID and hospitalizations and the different strains of virus. You know, the stories are getting strung all the time. And when you listen to that, you might look back at what you're talking about and how can you create a story about it. So I love working with people. If they don't quite have a story, we can work together and formulate that story so it's more engaging, more compelling. And then we mirror it with pictures. So here is a slide I designed for a client. This was their title slide. So it invited them in. This was their walk-in slide if it was a live event, so they know what they're coming into. And you can see the pictures in the background. It's a combination of a couple of pictures, but it really talks about living well in the wireless world and how to beat that invisible stress with ease. They're talking about all those, you know, invisible things that are like G5. I can't explain exactly what she was talking about, but anyway. Then here's another one. So she speaks to parents about problem children and how do you deal with that? And she just had text on the slide. Imagine just text on the slide. And then we threw this picture in there, made it a duotone, but look how it just has such more expression. And then this is one of her detail slides. Like you look at that picture and you could tell the stress she's in, and the child is just not phased at all. She's going to continue talking. I love it. And then here's another slide. Again, a picture is worth 1,000 words, the missing link. You can talk to this and tell a great story. And while they're looking at the picture, they're remembering what you're saying. So that picture embeds in our brain and it mirrors with the story that you're telling, and they're going to remember it years later. So here's an example of a client that I work with. He used to be a former marketing executive for Wendy's, and he worked when they coined the phrase, "Where's the beef?" So some of us older folks, we know that commercial.
Never heard of it. Never heard of it. Before my time. It's before my time.
Oh, okay. Well, look it up. I think there's one video of it.
I'll call Clara Peller. I was devastated when she died.
Yeah, when he interviewed her, he says that she's the one. She's definitely the one.
Yeah.
Very, very character, very much a character. But this slide, when I look at slide sorter view and I look at the slides, I see, wow, this is interesting. This is engaging. Not quite sure what they're talking about, but I want to listen. And that makes a great slide deck. If I know exactly what you're talking about when I look at slide sorter view, it's too much. You want to have slides that need you to speak to it. You know, I tell speakers, if you want to put everything on the slide, then start your slides and walk off stage, because they don't need you. They can just sit there and read through them. And they're like, what? So you want to give them something to look at, but you also want to speak to it. So this next image, we're talking about know your customer. This is all about marketing, and it's important to know your customer, what your demographic, psychographic, that kind of thing. And as he's talking about it, look how bright this image is. When we look at a photo, we look at a face. Is there a face? Okay, are there eyes? Are they looking at us? If they're not looking at us, where are they looking at? So we look for eyes. Are they looking at us? If they're not looking at us, what are they looking at? So we look at eyes, then we look at what they're looking at. She's looking at his hands. And then after the eyes, we look at hands. What are the hands doing? Because we can formulate so much what's going on in that microsecond of looking at those 3 points. And aside from that, look at the store. Look how neat it is. Look at all the products. Everything's well laid out. It's just, you can swim in this picture, is what I say. And then this next one, offer your customers something they value. This tells exactly what it is. You can tell this lady values shopping, and she's got a great face. Her lipstick matches some of the packaging. It's just a great photo. And this is a found photo. These photos are found. They're out there in image banks that are low cost, and there's several image banks that are no cost. So it's just go out there and find some photos that speak to the stories that you're telling. This next one, effective communication is what is remembered and acted upon. This is a bulleted slide. That's the title I just showed you. So I'm going to click through the bullets. So you must entertain, you must engage, you must inform, and you must have a call to action. Now that doesn't look like a bulleted slide. It's fun. Again, where do our eyes go when we first look at this? It goes to the boy on the left because he's looking at us, right? And then we go to the right, we look at this other boy and he's looking back at the left, and then we see their hands and what they're doing and their expressions. There's just so much going on, and it just makes me smile when I see this photo. And then this last one I have, speak the language of the customer. Now this is a white background, and I'm okay with some white backgrounds. It kind of wakes you up and whatever. You just don't want to overburden them with too much white, okay? But look at her eyes, the bright brown eyes, her hair. We took the text and matched the color of her hair, and her teeth. She's got perfect teeth. I love this picture. So that gives you a sense of some of the things that you can do with slides. Very simply, these are very simple slides. Yeah, and yes, I'm a graphic designer, I've been doing this forever, and it's easy for me to do it, but I'm trying to teach people that you can do it too and have fun with it. Or you can hire someone like me to do it for you. So I'm going to recap. So first we talked about keeping it simple. Really, it's just keep it simple. Find a nice image, put a little text on there if you need it, and tell a story to it. And then number 2, as we said, avoid the bullets. How can we avoid those bullets? Get creative. 1 bullet per slide, maybe. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. I know everyone says, well, I want to list everything out there. And it's like, okay, but then don't sit on it for 5 minutes, go through in detail and talk about them. And then the last one is tell a story. A picture's worth 1,000 words. If you find a picture and you're telling a story to it, or you have several pictures, like I'm clicking through these slides, I'm speaking for 20 minutes and I've already gone through 50 slides. So it's practice and timing and that kind of thing. But that's the strategy of really connecting the images. I call it, we're creating the wow factor, but I call it the Hollywood effect, because when we look at slides, when someone pulls out the projector and puts up slides, we're thinking, oh, movies, like Hollywood. And then we see the slides and we get all disappointed and glum. I was like, how can we make this better? So that's my 3 quick tips to show you how that works. So what would it be like to have that kind of transformation for your next talk? Think about it. If you could have fun with your presentation, engage them, and connect them better to who you are and what you're about, that would make a huge difference. So I hope you learned some valuable things today. Presentations will look different to you now, I promise you. People tell me they never look at slides the same again, and they'll see slides and they'll tell me, oh my God. I had 2 students that were interns with me for a summer, and they were in 11th grade. And after I taught them how to distinguish a good slide, all they could do is call me and tell me and complain about their teacher slides. And I mean, horrible stuff. So hopefully from this, you might be able to up-level your presentations. So imagine sitting in front of your computer and you're about to work on your slides, and you have a solution that can make it much easier. Well, designing impactful slides so that they can captivate and convert will help you to sell your products and services or ideas better. We want to love our slides, right? That's what it's all about.
That's awesome.
So what
That's
results will you produce beyond what's done before now, and that will have you show up as an expert? So what I want to share with you is my free gift on how to access, how to create great slides. I created this 60-minute series of videos on how you can create better slides. And it goes through colors, fonts, graphics, how to create a statistic. How do you create a statistic slide? Very important. And then statistics sell. You know, if you can pull statistics out, that has a big impact on people. This normally sells for $197, but I'm giving it to you free. So you just have to go to createslidesthatconvert.com/love.
That's
and you're
awesome.
going to love your slides again.
and we'll have it on the dashboard too, you guys, as well. So it'll be on Bridget's page. So not to worry about that. You can either go to the URL, or again, it's on the dashboard to make it easy for you. These are gorgeous, just stunning.
Thank you.
Keep going. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Oh no, I'm done. That's it. That's pretty much it. I finished a little early.
You did fine. You're great. It's funny. We talked before we started about how I have one person that was a purple fanatic and just destroyed the color purple, because there's some really nasty colors, shades of purple. I guess it's nasty shades of everything. But I tell you, this is gorgeous. This slide is the color, the drama of the slide, the yellow that goes with it. Just stunning. I got to tell you, for me, waking up at 2:30 in the morning to do this presentation, and for what you did for my eyes are in such gratitude to you. I got to tell you. No, I'm serious. I mean, the quality of what you're saying, what you're demonstrating is so beautiful, and you put time and energy into it, and that does show that you love your audience, and that means a lot. Oh, damn, you took my slides away. They're gorgeous, and to have that experience. I hadn't thought about white slides the way you mentioned it. And, and I've been doing presentations for 39 years or more, maybe. Got to check the calendar again. Things change every year, damn it. But, and I've been a big offender in the past. I mean, a real big offender in the past. And even, as I have new presentations coming up next week, trust me, I'm going to be going back, and I've done a bunch of similar stuff to what you're doing, but you have it finessed so beautifully that it's like, I want what she's having. I've never seen the bullets done graphically the way you have it. Those Post-it note. Oh, that is so cool. That was so cool. And your kid with the call outs, for really creative, really creative. And even your animations, luckily enough, the way you did them here in Zoom came out looking fine. That can be dicey in a lot of cases.
You want to keep it tasteful and simple.
Yeah, sometimes people overdo it with technology because, I have some new stuff and there's too much glam and glitter running around. I really do. And you make a good point about you had 50 slides in 20 minutes. So what? They're not heavy slides. I mean, they may be big files because of the graphics, but so what? You made it so engaging, and I was like, what's next? What's next? So you really did create that. And I am a skeptical audience. I will tell you, I'm very, I mean, when I see people do slides, and I saw a couple of slides, I think I saw a couple of slides with Calibri. I hate that font. I want the person who designed that font. I want to take them, tar and feather, rip them apart. I mean, it's ugly. I mean, and it just, it's nasty. And yeah, for God's sakes, please give me like, it's Calibri, by the way, is the default font that Microsoft puts in Word and PowerPoint and so on. And it just misses everything. It's just nothing to that. And if you like it, I'm sorry. And then you look at Apple, and their default font is Helvetica New, which just has a little bit of extra pizzazz than the regular Helvetica, which is a fantastic font. That's McDonald's font. So, seeing those distinctions, if someone puts Calibri, immediately I don't like them. I mean, I'm judgmental. That it's like, no, they've given me something that is nasty. They haven't customized it. They've gone with the default, and it just has nothing. And what you did, with some of the different fonts and the way you married them together is really classy. So, yeah, I'm raving. I'm just like, she's great. I love her. She's awesome. So I will say number one, I mean, I know I have the link because you gave it to us because we're producing this, but I wrote it down. Literally, I wrote it down like right here because I'm going to that link. So you guys, I recommend that you, if you haven't done it, either go to the dashboard or Creative Slides That Convert. I love that.com/love. And I'm going to go through that.
What's cool about that is you're going to get into my membership site, and it's going to be a paid site soon, but everyone who gets in now, it's free. You have access, and what you have access to is this free training. Plus you have access to my once a month, look over my shoulder as I fix your slides office hour.
Oh, I love that. I tell you, I love that stuff. It's like, you know, when you're driving down the road and someone's in an accident, you're like, right?
Yes. That's all they show up as looky-loos. No one brings slides. No one has questions. They just want to look.
Yeah. It's like, it's like when I watch the news of the United States, it's like, I'm so glad I don't live there anymore. It's like, oh, you guys are really messed up. It's like it's watching the train wreck. Sorry, Americans, but I am one of you. And I'm, anyway, it'll get better at some point. It'll get better. But yeah, when I see that, Entrepreneur Magazine used to have a guy that did, Jerry somebody or other, that used to do ad fix-ups, the before and after, and it was great to see the before, and a great way to learn, by the way, a really great way to learn. So if you can get into those events that Bridget is doing, I would recommend it, because that's really where you learn, because you're in the actual real life strategy rather than just watching something in a book past tense type of scenario. I love the experience.
With the live office hours, we get to interact and people can ask questions. And I had one person go, it's too late for you to help me with your slides, but I'm speaking tomorrow, so I'm working on my slides now. How do I do this? And I showed her how to do it. And she sent me the greatest testimonial the next morning and $50 in Venmo.
I love it.
She says, my slides look so much better after 5:59 p.m. yesterday. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Doesn't that make you feel good? When you can have that definite impact on somebody. That's so cool.
Well, I've seen so many audiences take out, you go to these big events, sales meetings, they spend lots of money on it, and they spend a lot of money on the banners outside and the badges and all that stuff, but they don't put any mind share to the slides, the content on the slides. And it blows my mind, because what is our mind share on most of the day? Yeah. It's on those slides. And so I'm very passionate about, abolishing the boring slide, creating this win-win situation with the audience and the speaker. And, whether I do your slides for you or whether I teach you how to do them yourself, it doesn't matter. We're abolishing this boring slide and creating a new experience of how presentations can be conveyed.
You've done great. And we got to land the plane in about 15 seconds here. So
okay.
I know, and I'm really enjoying this. And I'd love watching. My eyes are grateful to you. So ladies and gentlemen, Bridget Callahan, check her out. Go ahead, grab her free gift. I got to tell you, massive value there. I'm going to grab it, and I've seen a lot of stuff. So I'm telling you, you got my attention, and that means a whole lot. Bridget, thanks so much for being with us today. I can't wait to do more with you and learn more about what you're doing and see more. And you may have just gotten yourself a client today from me as well.
Oh boy.
So,
all right. Thank you, Ken.
Thanks so much.
I stand for love. Do you?
Hey, this is Captain Lou, and I stand for love, baby. Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? Yes. Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you?
Ladies and gentlemen, Ken Krell here. We are in for another treat. I'm excited about this. We're coming live from an ice storm in Tennessee. Is the incredible Abigail Tiefenthaler, and she is in the lobby of this building where she has internet connection right now. So we are talking about like in the trenches right now. Full love on for you today. She is known, by the way, as the launch and leverage strategist and is the co-founder of LMS, which is a marketing service agency that works with professional coaches who are ready to make 6 and 7 figures consistently. I like that. And we're talking about money figures, not physical figures, FYI.
Correct.
Right. At 4 o'clock in the morning, that's the most fun I can probably come up with at the moment. She honed her strategic branding and marketing skills on Fortune 100 clients and saw that happier clients happen when team members worked on their specific expertise, which is always fun to do. Today, Abigail and her partner, Tammy Cray, did I pronounce that right? Is it Cray or Crea?
Mm-hmm.
Did it
Crea.
right? Yay. Okay, bring the best of brand strategy and marketing implementation so their clients can go from practitioner to business owner. And I am thrilled to have her here, given the dynamics of ice storm in Tennessee. Sounds really romantic to me. So welcome, Abigail.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you. Yeah, this has been interesting because I'm actually visiting my husband, who's got a 13-week travel nursing assignment. And so we have this cute little apartment who just been struggling with the internet since he arrived. So I got the landlord to finally give me some space, and this was the best he could do. He said, nobody's working today, so go ahead. But as my husband was coming home from the hospital this morning, he said there was ice everywhere because I was going to go to a coffee shop. So I guess it's nice that I don't have to get out.
You know, yes, that's absolutely for sure. And I got to tell you, you're bringing back to memories from a few years ago. My mother and I would travel when we could travel. We did a couple months, and we did a month in Israel and a month in Portugal. I remember having to do a webinar when I was in Israel, and my mom's like, well, you know, this is Israel. We're gonna have great internet here. And we were at relatives in a town called Nahariya. I'm like, oh, it'll be awesome. Well, it was like 2 gigabits up and 2 gigabits down. It was pathetically bad. And I was like, yes. I'm doing a webinar, it's my business. So I had to run to an all-night coffee shop, and the internet wasn't much better. And on top of that, it was really noisy because it was the all-night coffee shop.
Right, exactly.
So
it's, you know, the laptop lifestyle is sometimes not all it's cracked up to be. But for most of us who are entrepreneurs, home-based business owners, I've been doing it for 24 years. So it's an opportunity to really say, you know what, sometimes perfection is not worth the effort because sometimes you have to do. So, you know, as a marketing person, I often tell people it's imperfect actions beats perfect in action every day of the week. You know?
Amen. Well, it's funny because we're and by the way, you guys, we're literally meeting each other right now. So, so this is kind of, we're doing a getting to know you, which is kind of cool. I have a lot of my students where they want the perfection, and I'm like, it's not perfect, but it is, you know, and that's really the watchword. It's get the message out. If they don't know who you are, it doesn't matter. You can't do version 2.0 until 1.0 has been out there.
Well, and you know, it's interesting because we say to our clients, because we work with them, we provide a lot of done for you services. We provide some done with you services as a part of Launches Made Simple. And the thing we will tell them is their first webinar, their first download, whatever their first is, and their 5th, 7th, 12th, 25th are going to bear nothing to, you know, in terms of resemblance other than, oh, that was coined by me or penned by me. So it is a matter of getting out there. And what I want to talk about today a little bit is the, you know, the idea that when we embrace the concept of being a business owner, we're getting out on our own. Now, all of a sudden, we want to start doing, right? Because we are told imperfect action is the way to go. And I agree, but I'm going to share with you 3 shortcuts that will kind of almost seem counterintuitive, but will actually make that action less imperfect. Still imperfect, but less imperfect.
I love it.
So you want me to get started? Am I
Yeah.
ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Honey, I was born ready.
Okay. Me too. That's what my mom and dad always said. So, you know, I grew up in an advertising household. I was really, really lucky. My dad was a madman. Actually, 1960s, BBD&O, you know, just like Bewitched and just like the AMC series Madman. My mom was also an entrepreneur, a home-based entrepreneur in the early 60s. And she wasn't involved in direct sales. She actually ran a fulfillment business. So there was a lot of shop talk going on at the dinner table. And, you know, I grew up in this industry. I have a degree in marketing. I have a master's in strategic management with an emphasis in strategic marketing. And so that's why I'm a leverage and launch strategist, is because strategy to me is everything. The benefit of teaming up with a partner like Tammy is that we get to implement as well. So we provide end-to-end campaign services. But here's the first shortcut that I can tell you, is that a little strategy goes a long way. And what do I mean by that? You know, we forget that strategy comes in a lot of different sizes and shapes. I'm not saying you have to go create that 57-page SCORE business plan and fill out all of those things, but you do need to have a plan of action. You do need to have a business strategy that you can create a goal from, a vision from, and kind of make a connection to it on a personal, visceral, soulful, heartful, and headful manner, right? You've got to know where you want to go. And that's a part of your business strategy. Where do you want to go? How much do you want to make? How do you want to spend your day working? You know, what are the key elements of your non-negotiables? And what do you see happening, right? What type of change do you want to impact in this world on a one-to-one basis, on a group basis, on a hundreds of thousands, you know, major impact? From that business strategy, you're going to go into a brand strategy. And that's my sweet spot. It is where, you know, there's a lot of branding experts out there, and they're all, you know, most of them are good, right? Let's assume they're all good. I'm going to do that abundance, no scarcity. They're all good. I really focus on strategy as it relates to the who, what, where, when, why, and how. And we come to it at a pretty intensive level. I don't think you can come up with a brand in an hour. I don't think you can come up with a brand in a week. I think your brand is your soul of your business. So it's always evolving. And if you don't do the strategic work to identify the who, what, where, when, why elements of your business, when you get to marketing, which is really the execution and the tactics, you're going to struggle. You're going to create paths to nowhere. You're going to have bright, shiny object syndrome. You're going to, you know, stop 4 feet from gold. So before the tactic is the strategy.
Yeah.
And it is probably, because it's a hard deliverable, it's probably one of the hardest things to do. It's also something that needs to be done every 90 days. You want to look strategically, are you on course? Does your brand strategy match your business strategy? Does your business strategy, you know, is the execution working in alignment with those, right? So your brand strategy addresses who I am, what I do, and why I do it. That's the you part of the business. And it's really important to be connected to that, because your business strategy is requiring you to go out to goal. And you're going to have challenges getting to that goal at times throughout the journey. If you're not connected, you're in trouble. Then you want to know who you're doing it for, why they need it, and why they're willing to pay for it. You're an entrepreneurial coach. You're a service-based business owner. You're in business to make money. So you've got to know why they're willing to pay for it now. Why is this problem so pressing in their life that they're willing to identify a solution, contract with somebody to make that solution happen? That's strategy. From that, you get your message. From that, you get your position. And from that, you now can create a marketing plan. So just as like point number one, I'm going to tell you a little strategy goes a long way. I like to recommend 90 minutes every quarter just to go and take a look. Is what I'm doing in alignment? You know, become the chiropractor of your business, right? You've got to take a look at where your gaps are, because if you don't ever do that, then all you're doing is stuff. So the second point, and the second shortcut.
Hang on, before you do it, I want to jump in for a second, if you don't mind. What you just heard was gold. Be the chiropractor of your business every quarter for 90 minutes. You should be writing that down right now. That is gigantic, because it's true. You know, what you just said, Abigail, for that whole session is critical. If you don't know your why, if you don't know what this is all about, then you're gonna jump all over the place. So she's 100% right, and I want to just drive that home because it is really, really critical. It's like you're preaching to the choir.
And here's the thing: is it's not just not knowing where you're going, but you also have to understand the reason you're going there. So that's why I'm saying you've got to be connected. That's why I'm saying your brand is the soul of your business. You have to be connected to it, because you will struggle. I don't care if you're working with the greatest coach in the world, the greatest program in the world, the best Facebook ad experts or content creators or whatever. If you don't feel it, it's not going to happen. I was just talking to a client earlier today, and I said, you know, and people can't tell you that. You know, you could have the greatest clothing designer come into your house and dress you. But if you don't feel comfortable in what you're wearing, you're not going to leave the house.
That's true. That is so true. Have you ever gone? Yeah, it's a great metaphor.
You know, so I want you to feel this. And, you know, when you're storytelling, your story is only as relevant to your customer as the needs are that they have. So there's a lot of things that we discuss and we go through. We do a really deep dive in the area of brand strategy, because you can tell I love it, you know. And at that point, then we turn our clients over to Tammy, and I call Tammy and the team, because we do have content creators, and we do have technology people, and we do have Facebook ads experts and other organic social media experts that are a part of our team. Because the next thing that happens, and here's the shortcut, you got to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're out there, again, bright, shiny object syndrome, you're out there paths to nowhere. So with everything that you do around marketing, the goal is to stop the madness, to simplify the process, to automate where it makes sense. You know, call to actions can be automated. What are you giving? Free download. How are you nurturing your market? And I will tell you that, you know, I know there's various numbers out there, but 20 touches. Like when I started in my career in 1982, you know, people would say after 3 times you're hounding. After 3 times, they don't even know who you are in today's world, right? I called on Hershey Foods for 4 years before I got business. I called on Wyeth, which is a pharmaceutical company, for a year. Every single Wednesday, I called on them before I got business. Persistence, tenacity, a little bit of gumption, they go a long way. But you have to know where you're taking them, and you have to know what the goal is. So what that plan is, you know, is an opportunity for you not to be sitting in front of your computer on Monday morning going, okay, what am I going to say today? That helps you with your content. Your plan helps you see how you're moving people along. We had a client come in after the 38th email. 38. We have about 80 in our in our bucket of emails.
Wow.
And I'm going to give you a tip. After you get to 50, 40, 50, you can often send the same email, but with a different headline.
You're right.
People aren't going to, they're not going to remember it. So there's a tip for you. You repurpose content wherever possible. You want to show up consistent. If we go back to that dressing metaphor, you want, the top that you're wearing and the bottom that you're wearing to look like they're a part of an outfit, right? Then if you want to get fancy, you want the accessories and all the other accoutrements of fine dressing. But at the minimum, you want your top and your bottoms to at least coordinate. The plan is what helps you do that. And again, I recommend, take that 90 minutes once a quarter, and where have you put things in place that are not working? Where are you putting things in place where you're struggling? The goal of having that plan is you'll start to see gaps. That's really the goal of the plan, is to help you see gaps. Because if you can see gaps, now you have a choice of filling them or not. Can you do them on your own? Can you learn them? Should you outsource them? I'm a fan of outsourcing, not just because we're an agency, but because I don't want to spend time in things that don't bring me joy, that don't make me happy. I will tell you that I love strategy. I can spend all day long with talking strategy. When it gets to implementation, I know enough to be dangerous. And the reason why I do is because I don't have to worry about it. I get to give it to Tammy. I get to send her something and go, oh, this is really cool. Is this good for us? And she'll go, yes or no. I'll look at it or I won't. But she geeks out on that. I geek out on strategy. So the second tip, get a plan. As roughed out as it can be, you will find that once you start the discipline of creating one, once you start, you'll get more and more intricate. It doesn't have to be crazy. Start with one platform, 2 at the most. Don't feel like you have to touch everything. That overall strategy is going to help you decide how you're bringing leads into your community. The plan is going to figure out also how you're nurturing them as well. Because here's the thing, we need to be marketing 24/7. I hate to tell you that, but it's true. It's like bathing. You got to do it every day, or at least 3 times a week or 4 times a week, whatever your schedule and preference is. Once you stop bathing, there's consequences. Well, once you stop marketing, there's consequences too. So my goal is, to simplify the process. That's one of the reasons why we are huge fans of automated funnels, and we use them for one specific purpose. We are a huge fan of one offer. The Ascension model to me is a crazy model filled with time and effort and content. One program that you can upsell against and downsell against. And we've been doing that for years. So
I love you. That is, it's so renegade, but I believe the same thing. I mean, I can go both ways, but yeah, it's great.
This is it. We overcomplicate what we need to do. And we can't, I often say, I pardon my French, but an ass can only ride one saddle at a time.
That's true.
And I think that might be from Sweet Home Alabama, if I remember correctly, the movie. But, you can have 6 horses in a stable, right? There's nothing wrong that you could have 6 offers, you could have 6 avatars, you can have 6 marketing messages. Not that I recommend that necessarily, but you can only take one out at a time.
Yeah, it's true. I'll give you a little example, and I don't want to take up too much of your time on this because you're on a roll, but I just bought myself a new toothbrush, a new Sonicare, right? And I spent, I don't know, easily an hour figuring out which model of Sonicare I want. Okay. But the bottom line is I'm only using one speed, only one. It's done. What the hell do I need all this crazy shit for? Right. I mean, right. So it's exactly to your point. Focus on that one thing and be the best at it, and people will want it all day long. So thank you for saying that. That is music to my ears. And at 4:20 in the morning, it means a lot.
It's good music. Well, good. I'm glad. I mean, I remember somebody saying from the stage, if you're going to be a plastic surgeon, be the best nose plastic surgeon or hand plastic surgeon or breast reconstruction plastic surgeon. You want to be known as, whether you only want to work with 10 clients a year and charge them $25,000, or you want to work with, more and charge them $5,000. Be the best. And this is the thing, expertise, while it's really important because it adds to your pedigree and your credentials, it only takes you so far. You've got to have a little bit of a ham, want to be on stage, want to be willing to put yourself out there. And I know, especially, I don't know how old you are, Ken, but I turned 61 on Saturday. My generation was really, at least I was, be seen and not heard.
Yes. And by the way,
Right?
I can call you young lady and get away with it then.
Yeah, yes, you can. I will not take offense.
Because I am older. And happy birthday.
Yeah, it's so interesting that we just weren't raised under the lights, the camera lights. I mean, I even did a little bit of modeling as a kid, and you did it, you went home. It wasn't model was your entire career. We weren't raised with the O-rings and the backdrops, as you can see. I mean, just we were raised to go do our work and do it almost quietly because it was the impact that mattered. So to get now into this culture of being online, whether it's words or face or, lives, whatever it is you're doing, you want to make it as valuable as possible and as strategic as possible. So the plan will help you do that. Little strategy goes a long way, and some simple planning goes a long way too. So that's my thing. First two. The third, I'm going to say about really kind of a shortcut that people often forget is that all of marketing is research, plain and simple. So if you are not measuring your results, how do you know what's working and what isn't? If you assume and take a deep breath and go, okay, all of marketing is research. I get that. I am either going to succeed or I'm going to learn. But in order to succeed, I need to know what my goal was, going back to the strategy. And in order to learn, I need to know what the plan was so I can figure out what wasn't working. It could be as simple as there's a link in your funnel that isn't working. It could be as complex as your entire message is off. It's not bringing in the right people. Most business owners will say they have a client problem, right? A client I need more clients. 9 times out of 10, it's the offer, it's the message, it's the positioning, it's the marketing, it's all of those things that leading up to having somebody pick up the phone or schedule an appointment and say, I want to consider working with you, tell me more. So if you're not measuring your results, some people call them KPIs, key performance indices, or some people call them ROIs, return on investment. Everything you do in marketing requires time, effort, and money. Whether it's money expended to participate in something, or whether it's money lost because now you're giving time and effort. You have to understand time, effort, and money. So the reason why I'm such a fan of outsourcing is for that reason, that I know the effort it will take to learn something relative to implementation is not worth my time. And you've got to be able to step boldly and courageously into the confidence that comes with, I am good at what I do. I've got an offer that will impact and create results and transform. So now I just got to work with more clients. But the missing element of getting those KPIs or ROIs or whatever you want to, however you want to label it, is what am I doing in between? That's what's going to help you figure out how to simplify and be more effective with the amount of time, energy, and money you're expending.
You are 100% right. This, I got to tell you, I've been taking notes. I don't usually take a lot of notes, but I'm taking a lot. I hope you guys out there are taking notes on this, because you need to be implementing what Abigail's talking about. This is gold, you guys. This is totally gold.
35 years, Ken.
Right.
You know, I've been doing it for 35. Tammy's been doing it for 35. We love what we do. We really do. And, you know, I always get so frustrated when we're talking to a prospect and they say, I've already invested thousands of dollars figuring out my brand. Well, then why aren't you in action?
Right.
Well, because my coach tells me I need to do this. I had this whole long conversation with somebody recently, and she goes, well, I've been doing it for 3 years. I've been following my coach's advice for 3 years. And I said, and how's it working for you? Because you're on the phone with me looking for something.
Right.
So I'm a little bit like a chicken. I don't get subtleties well. I'm pretty transparent. So I'll tell you, like, go and do this if this is what you really want to do, because you're going to play full out if you want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a client who came into my Safari program, and she's like, I want to do an event. And I said, okay, great. She said, how much time should I have for a runway? I said, figure 6 weeks or so, 8 weeks max out to get it right. So she did it in about 2.5 weeks. And it was basically her way of giving me the finger and saying, I'm not waiting, I'm going to do it. And worst landing page ever. just horrible landing page. The design, not anything what I teach. But son of a gun, she had 8 people show up. She made $18,000.
Right.
She implemented it, and I can't swear that it's not perfect, but it is. So you're 100% right. Go ahead and get yourself in place, rock on, and call it done. And there you go. It's fantastic. So,
well, and here's the thing. Hopefully what your client found was that, I wonder what would have happened with a little bit of planning. I wonder what would have happened had maybe, is everything integrated and aligned? Maybe if I had started earlier and gone out later, given that lead time Ken recommended, I might have had 28 people show up.
Sure.
Now imagine the possibilities.
Absolutely. But I tell you, but the point is, she did it. And what you're experiencing with some of your folks was 3 years with this coach, and where's the results? Not there. Why are you still doing the same thing?
Yeah, well, in this case, the thousands of dollars this poor woman has spent on marketing, I felt so bad. And she bought some good programs, and she was working with some good coaches. I know the industry pretty well. And part of it was, you get something in your mind, and you're like, I can't do this. I can't call myself a coach. There's a coach out there who says, I hate the word coach.
Yeah.
And then there's somebody else who will, say, well, you shouldn't, you shouldn't tell people what you do, because that's a part of your process, not who you are. And I'm like, you know what, though, this is it. For somebody else, it might have worked fine. But for her, she kept on going back fighting. She was always in a resistance mode that wasn't enabling her to really show up like, this is me. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I can help you.
It's crazy time. We had literally about a minute and a half left before we run out of time. No, I'm loving this. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, I tell you, this is like, I'm so grateful. But I know you have a free gift to give everybody. I'm not sure if we have that dialed in. It's going to be on the dashboard. And so you'll be able to access that, everybody, because you want to learn more about what Abigail does. I want to make sure you do stay in touch with this incredible powerhouse, because I tell you, I'm thrilled. I've got 39 years. You got 36 together. You're looking at nearly a century of in the trenches, real life experience, you guys. It means something. It means something.
Yeah.
So,
and the fundamentals never change.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So I've just put the finishing touches. I'm not sure if my VA has gotten this up yet. So it is 7 mistakes. It's www.launchesmadesimple.com. That's our website. But if you go /7 mistakes /, you should be able to download the 7 mistakes most often made. And there'll be some repetitive information in there because they're mistakes. They can be shortcuts, right? Repurposing conversation is what it's all about. But it's a robust it's a robust piece. So take a look at it. Hopefully you'll
And I'll have
enjoy
something.
it.
And I'll have something on the dashboard for you guys as well. We are totally out of time. I love you. This has been so much fun, and I want to have you back for more because it's too short. So we got to talk more. You're
Thank you, Ken.
You're amazing, Abigail. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. There's more World Love Week to come.
I stand for love. Do you?
Hey, this is Captain Lou, and I stand for love, baby. Do you?
Do you?
Do you? Yes. Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you?
Good morning, everybody. Ken Krell here from Sydney, Australia at 8:01 a.m. in the morning. It is 4 p.m. Eastern time, and God knows where it is, wherever you are. But I want to tell you, I'm thrilled that you're here, and you'll be thrilled that you're here. You'll be thrilled that you're here because you're here, because your next guest today is one of my favorites. Her name is Sue Wilhite, and she's going to talk about how to power up your heart. Understand that Sue, after spending 20 plus years as a wildly successful programmer and systems analyst, she's been known now as the profit attraction master. She decided to switch gears and exercise more of her right brain. She became a hypnotherapist, a bookstore owner, an event manager, a law of attraction coach, some of them at the same time. So she's a crazy person like us. Sue loves to make difficult or complex subjects understandable and relatable. And if those of you like to confuse things like me, she is great to have around. She coaches and inspires practitioners and inspired practitioners as well how to earn six figures in their businesses, even if they're too spiritual to be rich. And that's a big challenge for many people. Ladies and gentlemen, the incredible, fantastic, chocolatey good Sue Wilhite. Hey, Sue.
Thank you, Ken. All right, I am going to get my presentation up here.
You are ready to go.
I am, whoops, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Technology sometimes does weird things. So much for my technology. All right, let's try, whoops. Okay, technology fail, it's okay. I deal with these all the time. Isn't it fun?
I will admit that some of the technology fails that we've had have been Ken fails as opposed to technology fails. That was the human technology.
Oh, that was a Sue fail. That was totally a Sue fail.
Yeah,
all
I know.
right.
I know.
I hit the big yellow
click the share button.
All right, here we go. Let's try this again. Present.
There you go.
Ta-da!
That's it. That's it.
That's it. All right. So today I'm going to be talking about power up your heart. Have you ever in your entire life felt like everything is too much to handle? Maybe you've had a moment in the last year where stuff has gotten a little bit, just a tiny bit overwhelming. Just knocked you out of the loop. You're feeling overwhelmed, you're having a meltdown. I am here to say that if you haven't had a meltdown at least once in the last year, I want to talk to you because I want to find out what's going on, because I've had at least 3 meltdowns, and it happens. It just happens. So what if you had a low battery indicator? What if you had something that when you are feeling tired, when you're feeling exhausted, that you just get one of these little things that flashes up that you get to plug it in and you can reset yourself any time? Well, I'm going to share a 3-step process that is going to allow you to plug in your power source so that you can activate your superpowers and have a better, richer life. And I'm hoping that in the comments, you're going to say yes to this, right? You want to say yes to having your batteries fully charged, ready to go, your superpowers up and running, right?
I'm
All
saying
right.
yes, 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 yes.
Yes, absolutely. So for those of you who aren't saying yes, you might be sitting back going, oh my God, this sounds really woo-woo. Oh God, recharging your batteries. Yeah, right. And some of others might be going, yeah, but when I'm tired, everything is so hard, right? It's just so hard when you're tired to drag yourself over and plug yourself in. Well, as Ken said, I am here to tell you that you have gifts, talents, and abilities that you were born with, that are easy for you, and that you are supposed to be using in some amazing, magnificent way. And you have internal and external power sources, energy sources that you can plug into anytime, any place, anywhere, under any circumstances to express those talents, gifts, and abilities. Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, you've got to want that, she says. So I want to acknowledge and thank you for being here. I want to say that it's an amazing thing. You've shown up. You wanted a little more love. You wanted to power up your heart. And I want to thank Ken for putting on World Love Week on a dime. This is a magnificent enterprise. And he's recharging his batteries all the time to be able to do this 24/7.
Oh my God,
And,
yes. Oh my God, yes.
yeah, right? So you are showing up. And I'm going to tell you just a tiny bit about myself so that I can kind of give you an idea of where I'm coming from. So as Ken said earlier, I miss positivity. I miss upbeat. I carry positive energy everywhere. And it wasn't always like that. When I was in IT, I had a great deal of stress. And it brought me to having an ulcer, hypoglycemia, depression, and other challenges due to stress and overwork. And I would routinely work until I was exhausted and then collapse and have a breakdown. And then I would recover, and then I would work until I was exhausted, et cetera, et cetera. And when I got the ulcer in particular, that motivated me to find a different answer, because the ulcer was going on 24/7 and it was painful and it sucked and I had to take drugs. And I'm a big believer in not taking drugs. So I wanted to be off of this. So this introduced me to an entire world of complementary and alternative medicine and techniques that allowed me to recharge my batteries, to get myself going, to keep myself going. And one of the techniques introduced me to the concept and the functionality of something called the electric universe theory. The electric universe theory says that we are all made up, surprise, of electromagnetic energy. And if you've had any chemistry or physics at all, this can't be too terribly much of a surprise, but the idea is that this electromagnetic energy and its ebb and flow impact our physical and mental health. And I feel it's my mission to share this with you. And it's why I'm here to help you power up your heart and give you the energy that you want and that you need. So, one more question. Would you like to be able to use your gifts, talents, and abilities to the max in your business, be a force of good for your community, for the world. Oh, and be able to have, cash flow. That's a sort of a side benefit of being able to run your energy better, right? So you are a battery. You've all seen batteries, these little things, and you have a positive and negative pole. And I want to tell you a little bit about one of my clients, Carolyn, who is consistently tired. Before she came to see me, she had no energy. And with the no energy, she even had insomnia. And sadly, she also had a family pattern of abuse. So her battery not only wasn't charging, but it was completely popped out of the contacts. You know how when you load a battery into something, it goes into its little contacts, right? Well, her batteries were not doing that. And so I was able to talk to her and train her and work with her on getting her batteries connected, getting her energy flowed together so that she is now sleeping better, she has more energy, and she's able to do more with what she's got. So how did I do that? Well, just like a battery, you have a positive pole and a negative pole. And the positive pole is what's called the Earth star, and it lives about 6 inches from the bottom of your feet. And it should live there, but just like a battery, it can get popped out. And I'm going to teach you how to reconnect it. So it takes a little bit of paying attention to yourself and a little bit of visualization. So what you want to do is you want to just imagine feeling the area between your shins or maybe between your ankles. And I want you to just imagine that you can find a little ball of energy. And wherever you believe that it is, that's where it is. And when we get stressed, when we get upset, when we get low energy, and particularly when we feel threatened by something, the Earth star has a tendency to tuck in like a puppy's tail. And it goes up above the ankles into the shins. And the idea is to very gently imagine that you are taking your hands and you are just gently pushing the Earth star down, down, between your feet, beyond the plane of your feet, till it goes about 6 inches below your feet. And it might feel a little bit like it just fell into its little slot. And when you have that feeling, imagine that it is connecting to the electric field of the planet, the current of the planet. And that energy, that current is coming into the Earth star and running all the way up your body, all the way to the top of your head. So here's this electric current, and it's just flowing all the way up from the Earth star in its connection with the life force of the planet. Now, the other battery contact, the positive pole, and by the way, negative and positive in this case are just simply descriptions of what electricians and folks who are studying electricity and flow call it. They call it a negative and a positive pole. These are not judgments. It's not that the Earth Star is channeling negative energy. Please don't go there. It's just about a name. The positive pole is above your head, and it should live about 6 inches above your head. So it's usually hanging around right about here when it's in place. Now, what ends up happening with the sun star is it has a tendency to cling to the top of the head. And I had a client named Alan whose Earth star was actually sun star was actually split kind of like a broken egg all the way over his head. And it was just like a collapsed balloon. And he was so much into his head that he wasn't able to make progress in anything. He was always getting frustrated because he was trying to think his way out of things. And when he was on, he was really, really good, actually. But he'd get into his head and his sun star would just collapse into his head. And it turned out that he had kind of an issue with his family having patterns of addiction. And the way that he coped with that was by getting into his head and trying to think things out logically because his heart was being hurt. So after I worked with him and got him to get his sun star above his head and activated, he was able to increase his paycheck, not once, but twice, and doubled the whole thing. So he went from about 65, 70K as a paycheck to about 130K currently. It might have gone up since then, since I worked with him, but it's definitely gone up. So when you get the sun star activated, things flow to you. So just imagine that you've got this sun star that is probably collapsed against your head, just like a collapsed balloon. And I want you to imagine that it is coalescing, that it's coming together, that it's becoming its own bright energy source, and it's living about 6 inches above your head. Now, when it is there, after you've got it connected up there, imagine that the electromagnetic energy, the life force energy of the universe, this is a big power boost, let me just tell you. The life force energy of the universe is being channeled, is being pulled and funneled through the sun star into the top of your head and down all the way where it connects into the Earth star. Now you have a current running. And if you can see the picture, you can see that the sun star and the Earth star are lined up, and you just want to imagine that that energy goes back and forth. Now, to describe this, well, I'm telling you about it, and the first few times that you are trying this on your own, because you are going to practice, right? It'll take you, it took me about 10-ish minutes to describe all of this. It might take you 15 minutes on your own. But once you get practiced in it, it's like that. You check in with your Earth star, you push it into position, you check in with, and you run the life force energy of the Earth up to the top of your head. You connect in with the sun star, you move it to the top of your head, you connect it to the top of your head, down to the Earth star, and you have this current running up and down, it literally takes less time to do than it does to tell. It is so fast. And when you do this, when you check in, it's like click, click, click. Oh, hey, there's energy. And you can take that energy and use it in your business. It allows you to be more present with the people in your life. It allows you to have a better heart connection with your customers. Because what happens when you are low energy and you're trying to deal with customers, with your clients, whoever it is, it's just not there. You're not going to make the connection. But if you connect this current, this electromagnetic current that you were born with, you connect with your clients and your customers. And oh, by the way, the folks in your family, your friends, your loved ones, all of that becomes richer. It becomes easier to attract clients. When you are talking to them, you communicate better because you've got this energetic flow. And because the flow is from the energy of the earth and the energy of the universe, no one can take it away from you. This is the other thing that I hear, is that people are nervous about energy vampires. Well, you know what? If you've got the energy of the universe coming at you, no vampire can eat that much. So you are completely in your own integrity as far as energy is concerned. Now, sometimes you've got patterns that you've inherited from your family in your DNA that consistently knock your connections out. Your battery gets disconnected. There are patterns: illness, poverty, abandonment, addiction, betrayal, abuse, and violence. These are 7 patterns of family dysfunction that get inherited through the DNA. Yes, there really is evidence for this. There's tons of books that have been coming out in the last 5 years that are about what's called epigenetics, and that we inherit these things. At April and May of 2020, I did some group sessions to clear these family patterns, to reduce or remove the energy of these 7 patterns of family dysfunction and get them out of your DNA, so that when you connect up your battery, when you've got your negative pole and your positive pole connected, they stay connected. They stay in the flow. You have that universal energy that just runs through you. So as my gift to the World Love Week folks, my gift is all 7 sessions that I did last year. It's $150 value. And all you have to do is go to the World Love Week dashboard, click on the free gifts from speakers button. It's a reddish pink button, and choose the one that says get your mojo back. And it looks kind of like the picture here. It's a little bit smaller because we had to fit it. But you'll be able to download any one of these or all 7 of these as you wish. Each one of them is anywhere from 25 to 45 minutes. And I'll just issue a warning. Don't binge watch these because you don't want to detox all 7 of these, leaving your system at once. I had a client who did this. That was not necessarily the best thing. So just do them like 1 a week. And in 7 weeks, you will find an amazing change in your life, especially if after every single one of these, you reconnect your battery by going to your Earth star, connecting up the life force of the planet, the electromagnetic current of the planet, connecting that up, connecting your sun star, getting the life force of the universe in there, and you will be able to go forth, have your internal battery set, and express those amazing talents, gifts, and abilities and superpowers that are yours, that the world is waiting for. Thank you so much. I'm Sue Wilhite, the Profit Attraction Master.
And you're amazing. What a generous gift, Sue. That's really delightful. Thank you. And yes, I recommend everyone jump over the dashboard, grab that, and I would recommend doing it now because that's going to get moved because of its great value is going to get moved as a VIP bonus, strictly to VIPs once this event gets later on in the week. So I recommend that you jump in and grab that now, or better yet, so you can listen to Sue over and over again with this particular session. Pick up our VIP recording package, all access, to give you all the chocolatey goodness that is Sue Wilhite and more. Let me just check on our time. We're good. So, what's the typical #1 question that people ask you when they start working with you?
Well, they want to know that what I'm doing works. And what's really fun is I do this connect up your battery thing, and they're going, yeah. Oh, wait, I felt that. Oh, wait. Oh. And that literally, I've had people go, did somebody turn on lights? So it's fabulous. When you get your batteries connected, your lights go on.
That's great. Well, people can certainly use that. I know I certainly can use that because I do find when I was like, she's talking about me. There's so much, people look at me and they go, yeah, I'm known to be the Energizer and all this, but I got to tell you, it takes a lot to recharge these batteries. And while it appears that I'm, it's behind it, it's like, I want to go to sleep.
Yes. Yes. So yes, Ken, you might listen to this once in a while.
Just at least once in a while, every hour. Yes.
Well, that's my gift to you, Ken.
And trust me, I'm very grateful for that, to be sure. When you're presenting, think about this. And I work with presenters to create and produce ridiculously irresistible digital events. It takes a lot of energy, and the audience will give you their energy, even if it's on a digital basis, just like we are right now, to sail you through. But I found over nearly 40 years that when I leave the stage and get back to the hotel or wherever it is I'm going, I'm done. Right. There's the high from the event, there's the adrenaline from the event, but then there's that, okay, I'm not, and even during the course of a day of work, of being creative, when that day is done, I don't want any new data. Right. I just want, throw on some Netflix, give me something that does not require me to think or engage.
Right.
And so this is a great gift for all of us. On behalf of everyone, I'm very grateful for what you brought to the table for us today.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, if you don't have energy, you can't do your business.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And you can't be present. I mean, you can, and I mean present in every way. So this is great. I would recommend head over to the dashboard, pick up Sue's incredibly generous gift, and more than that, use it. Yes. Use it, because just collecting stuff on your hard drive is really kind of meaningless. Yeah. So to that end, Sue, I love you. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Stick around, you guys. There's more to come. We have, I don't even know who's up next. I'm not even going to tell you. I'll let you figure it out on your own. Ladies and gentlemen, Suhole, thanks so much. And we'll see you on the next episode. Okay, cool. Streaming is over. Thank you. You're great. Perfect. You landed the plane beautifully. Thank you.
Yay.
Go enjoy some chocolate cake. Take care of your honey. Tell Beth I say thank you for not like doing anything really, really tragic, that she's still around and not just being a drama queen. And
no. She was having vertigo.
Oh.
Severe vertigo.
Oh.
And it's either an ear infection, deep ear infection, or there's these crystals inside of the brain that do things. Anyway, and it's not a stroke, which is
thank God.
We were worried about. So she's
great.
healthy.
Yay for vertigo. Yay for vertigo.
Yes.
Let's go watch, after you figure it out, go watch some Hitchcock.
Right? No. All right. Thank you, Ken. Bless your heart. You
Thanks so
take
much.
care of yourself.
I promise. Thanks, you too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.